Oh, we are live. What up, everyone? Checking out that Sunday night abyss. It's your boy Drew. I'm here live tonight with the lovely Layla Amaris. I've been wanting her to listen to this. Let me share my screen here. QOC came out with a new one page of everything. He's going to break down all of reality in one page. And he's even asking in the comments right here for people to, hopefully, I don't know if you guys can see it. He's saying, I want people to try and poke holes on this. So I think that would be kind of fun. Do another Mad Earth, try to poke holes in it. You ready, Layla?
I'm so ready. Hasn't it been a while since you've done a matter?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. There's so many streams I don't always see them all, but I feel like it's been a while.
Well, let's do it. I'm going to put it on 1.5. If you need me to pause it or something.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go, people. Shout out to the chat.
That's here in this place. You existed before birth. You agreed to be here at this moment in time.
Hold on. I'm going to stop it already. How does he know we agreed to be here already?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Reality is a spiritual game of you versus the Not Nilk and its minions.
And if you're unfamiliar with Matt, real quick, what he's talking about, Not Nilk, is it's Clinton spelled backwards. He's just basically saying like the reality itself. To me, he's just talking about Babylon, like a spiritual Babylon or whatever. I think he thinks he made it up or something.
This reality is a spiritual game of you versus the Not Nilk. You begin to win or start to win when you understand that the version of you that is here on Earth is not the whole of you. The Not Nilk wins by fooling real people into defining themselves by the parts derived from and bound to this place, such as defining yourself from body or ego, certain movements in the last 15 years. Oh, see how that fits in. I'm adding a little bit, guys.
It sounds a little transphobic to me.
The Not Nilk uses the entire society and culture.
The caption says the nut milk. The nut milk system.
To facilitate a massive...
What?
I said way too perfect.
Yeah.
Trick. Its ruse is structured so you continually look to root to it, make contract with it, and seek its rewards. If you define your life by its standards of success, it has won. It tempts you with looking outside yourself for life's highest answers. The best news is it can't beat you directly. Let me repeat that. It cannot beat you directly. The rules here dictate it must operate through deception, through a trick. You can only beat yourself in this game. In those who have succumbed to the Not Nilk,
you can only beat the nut milk out of yourself. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to what he says though. Like it is almost always a choice, right? Would you agree?
That was a choice, just
people choose to kind of spiritually degrade themselves.
Oh yeah, definitely that. I don't think we choose to live here though.
Yeah.
Died and then lost. It was successful in hiding one's own power from themselves. It is a master at demoralization and learned helplessness. All of science is its silver bullet in this regard. One bookend there is called Einstein, and the other bookend, Darwin. In 2023, it has most people trying to win a boxing match by punching themselves in the face. Dr.
Hold on. He said the system is like produces victim mentality. Isn't that what he just said?
Yeah.
But then he says you're trapped. You agreed to be here or something. You're spiritually trapped here or something. So isn't that already?
Well, yeah. If you're making a choice, you're not a victim.
Well, I guess if he's saying you chose to be here.
Right.
Okay.
Ref is the cut man in their corner. Seeing the nature of this rigged game is only the first step. There are no gold medals handed out for your truth research. Whatever you've found about the Federal Reserve, or you have new theories about what actually happened to the Titanic. No gold medals in this reality for that. It wants you forever trapped in that bog. The second part is far more important. Beyond seeing the trick, it's actually doing the work. It's using this life to benefit the whole of you, mind, body, and spirit as one. The Not Nilk can still win, though, by disrupting this second half of the football game, with its endless commercial breaks and streakers coming onto the field from the stands. Oh, it'll still try to disrupt your journey. It has an arsenal of weapons and an army of flying monkeys at its disposal in a military branch of its own called the 101st Distraction. If it can keep you in the caterpillar phase, it wins. Most people believe the butterfly isn't even possible, and they do nothing to achieve it. They don't look anywhere but where the Not Nilk says to look. For the malcontents like you and me, who
Not
sense at some point in our lives that something is fundamentally wrong with the world, and then those who begin a life of research, there's a critical juncture between the caterpillar and the butterfly stage. It's the Not Nilk's last chance to throw a Hail Mary pass and win. Here, before being checkmated, the Not Nilk offers conspiracy and other fascinating topics, so the real you never emerges from the chrysalis stage. You see, you, the pupa wrapped up in the cocoon, has been given high-speed internet and a billion yellow breadcrumbs to chase. Again, it cannot directly stop your progress. You must choose not to be the butterfly by succumbing to its trick.
I mean, I agree so far, right? They got you right where they want you. That's why would they collapse the internet or any of that stuff? They got you 100%.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a psyop too, for sure. Yeah. They have people dependent on it. I've seen grown adults completely have meltdowns over losing it. I don't think they're gonna pull it out from under us.
It works the same way every single time. A win in this regard, if one is able to emerge and become the butterfly, is the true meaning of alchemy. It's not led into gold. That's ridiculous. Everything in this reality is a sidebar bullshit backstory. If you win, that's alchemy. It's also the Holy Grail. On the other end, those who succumb to the trick and lose, this to me is the meaning of Antichrist.
So how do you win, though? Maybe he'll get into it, but he basically said, if you succumb to the trick, you lose. So if you just know it's a trick, you win. Or I guess we'll find out. There's plenty left here.
We'll talk about this stuff on the back end. You know your efforts are bearing fruit when you see yourself changing into something your 20-year-old self would not recognize. Then you continue to drop baggage here. Use the tools that this earth and life gives you every single day to gather small wins in becoming a better whole. Now, the former part, dropping baggage, has nothing to do with karma. The Not Nilk trick in regard to karma is people believing karma is something bigger than the person. The person has to defeat karma. No, like all things here, it's the opposite. Like all things, karma does not exist without the person. Consciousness comes first. We've talked about that. Karma does not exist without real people giving it weight and substance. This last section is very brief, but it's personal to me. I've kind of left room here.
So he does or doesn't believe in karma? I couldn't tell. Rusty says he doesn't explain how to win clearly.
Yeah, not at all. I don't
Well,
know.
there's still more video, maybe. We'll see, I guess. I didn't see this video. I saw just the very beginning. Total
I haven't
Earth
seen it
says
at all.
knowledge-based salvation. Facts care about your feelings. That's what it sounds like so far. I guess let's give him a chance here.
For those who agree with me about the front two sections, the nature of the trick, you can change a bit here to fit your personal belief set. For me, the final step to winning is as simple as having the realization that this is not the place I want to be after this life has served its purpose.
Hold on. What did he just say? What did he say? I'm going to go back. It's 10 seconds here.
The real simple as having the realization that this is not the place I want to be after this life has served its purpose.
This is not the place I want to be after this life has served its purpose. So is this turning into the soul trap theory? Like you're a last timer, you got to get out of here?
Maybe. Does he believe in an afterlife? I don't know a whole lot about POC.
I think everything's on the table, so I don't know what he
No.
really truly believes.
Okay.
But that sounded like some last timer soul trap shit to me. This is when their life's over. This isn't where we want to be. Well, you're not going to be here because your life's going to be over. So apparently, well, I'm going to assume he's talking about soul trap. Get out of here, whatever. I think those guys, I'm not even 100% sure of the theory. I think they just believe you go to like the next higher up realm or something, but it's not necessarily heaven.
Mm.
It's just you get to another incarnation where you're not here on Earth or something.
How would you know it's not something worse?
I don't know.
The realization that this is not the place I want to be, or any reality system like it, with a bunch of asshole minions running around trying to get up in my business. After the life has served its purpose, I decide no more of this. It's the understanding that everything is up to you in the end.
So you just decide you want to get out of here, I guess is how it works. You don't have to live a good life or do good deeds, right?
Just have to think it.
You just decide I'm not coming back here. And then you get to the next level or something like that, I guess.
Okay.
The end. A believer in karma is subservient to that idea. Simply see this reality exactly the way you want it to be, so it serves you. I believe, personally, the minion creatures like Melvin P. and the other role players here that serve what I call the asshole Dirk, they actually serve me. If you
when he says Melvin, he's talking about what's his name? Bill Gates.
Oh, okay.
So he's saying they serve me. They work for me. You work for me, buddy. Because why?
Oh.
Because I believe that.
Hmm. Okay.
You're like the grandma, like, that's nice, dear.
Believe the ratio of a dream to the waking world will be the same relationship as the waking world to death. Let me say that again. The ratio or correlation from a dream to the waking world could potentially be the same as the waking world to death, just another layer, like the movie Inception presented. Then it's likely that simple. Death will be as easy as waking up in the morning from a dream. It's likely we get what we expect, thereby exposing the main reason our power was hidden from us in the first place. So obvious the not know tactics and why it does what it does.
So obviously you just get whatever you want, whatever you think's gonna happen to you, and that's what you get. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
You're too nice, Layla.
Wow.
If you fear hell and you're planning for a recycling trap at the moment of your death, well, you just may have manifest that on yourself. Many times we've talked about the spiritual journey as worry about yourself. Now I see now the word worry needs to be removed. Absolutely needs to be removed. There is no worry. There is just yourself and all you are and all that you realize you have become using this life the way it's intended to be used. And the not milk trick, at least on you, has failed. All right, let's take this next section and dive into some of the details. I'll look back over it. Some things may need a better or further explanation if anybody's only been here for a year or less. And one last time, guys, if what I just presented has any merit at all, it needs to hold up to criticism. I welcome criticism at this point. Of course, it needs.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, hold up. I'll stop him there. I have beef with Matt about that.
What happened?
Well, when you first introduced me to Matt, because I never really watched him before you. You started making the Mad Earth videos, and he blocked me from his comments for making a very I wasn't rude to him at all. What was it? It was about I think when he said you had to doom yourself to win the game. And I said, no, I just said, I think it's about, you have to stand up for yourself and fight back. You don't just lay down and give up and die. And then he pulled the, well, you must be new here card on me.
Yeah, he likes that card.
A lot of people like that card, I've noticed.
Well, the same tactic archaics people use, like, oh, well, you haven't watched all 431 videos, so
Yeah, and I think it's very silly. Yeah, it's very silly to surmise somebody like that as well, though. Like, you have no idea how many videos I've watched or what I know or, why I believe what I believe. I see that a lot.
I feel like
On
this dude
street.
is like the kind of like the prototype truther. If he's real, I mean, if everything is as he wants you to believe, he just so happens to be a descendant of the President McKinley and is a world-renowned expert on kidnap and ransom insurance and has been on Fox News and InfoWars. He's just a regular guy. He's just like you and me. If that's
Yeah,
true, though, if that's true, then I feel like the truther psyops kind of worked on him, where he kind of believes in any and everything, it seems like, or refuses to take things off the table. And then also, I forgot where I was going. I had something else I was gonna say.
I
But
don't know. He definitely doesn't want criticism. He won't even open a dialogue with people.
yeah, that's true, and that's why we've made the Mad Earth video in the past. EBT just put the link in the chat. I saw like he won't even engage with his people in like a Discord or some other type of environment to let them kind of challenge or pick his brain or anything like that. I think so. So that type of like standoffness creates these types of videos that we made about him and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I always just, if you can't simply defend what you believe in, you don't really believe in it. I mean, at that point, you're just talking to talk, I feel like.
I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. I had something I was going to say. Maybe I'll remember it in a second here. Let's blast through this because those babies are going to wake up.
To hold up to attacks from all sides. And if it can't, if it breaks down in any way, it's worthless. So bring the attacks on. It is absolutely time for that. Well, even the trolls bring an intelligent argument. So it was very interesting the way Matt presented this, but here's where I want everyone to know where Matt's going wrong. Is that the way the trolls make their presentations?
Like, let me tell you about Matt. Let me tell you about how he's secret society. He's a Freemason. Let me tell you about Matt's past.
The troll
Yeah, Kung Fu Golf.
is obsessed with personal attacks. There's almost never any merit or basis to what is being said or an objection to what is being said. So I even welcome hearing from the trolls. Or what I can do here is actually anticipate the problems or objections some of you may have and try to overcome them even before they're presented. Matt, is that a retrocausality? No, it's not a retrocausality, although maybe I'm actually hearing your future objections now before they're given. It could be. The first objection we talked about, Matt, you're missing Jesus. Okay, obviously, Matt, you're missing Krishna and Shiva and Vishnu and Kali. I'm not going to incorporate any religion into this. You know my thoughts on this? Okay, I'm glad Christians are here and other religions are here. We have a common enemy, the not nilk. We're basically...
Kid, that's exactly what I was going to say, where I was going with that, and I forgot. Is I was going to say that it all becomes these all-encompassing theories similar to archaics as well, where it's just everything you can do and say to avoid God. It's all just like cope to avoid God. I feel like not just Matt, but channels like that.
Yeah, and it's too much overthinking about things that are nonsense. Like, I don't think it's in this video. I don't know what you showed me the other day where he was talking about magenta is the reality or some nonsense like
Yeah, I
that.
want to get into that tonight too, maybe after you get off, if I'm still on here. He does
Yeah,
goes off about these colors, magenta, and somehow it ties it into AI. AI is taking over, so the magenta is bleeding through. I don't get that leap in logic there. And then UAP did a video the other night about magenta, and I went in and I made like very, very light pushback. I wasn't being a troll at all, but I was very gently kind of pointing out some discrepancies or whatever, and they just banned me. And then I went in on my other account and they banned me again. Like I wasn't even going nuts. But I want to talk about that magenta actually after this little 1-page thing. But it's like, yeah, this dude has to do a 50-minute video every day, like 5 days a week, to just avoid having to believe in God, it seems like to me.
yeah, but I feel like there's a point where you get to where like you're being educated beyond your capacity. Like you only have so much capacity to be educated, and then once you go beyond that, you're just going off the rails and just talking about things that are complete nonsense. And
Yeah,
isn't
and
what
I like
what he's talking about in here is that you just have to kind of know stuff, and then suddenly you're some master of reality because you know stuff. I mean, don't you have to do stuff?
well, we'll see what he says, but
Yeah,
that's why I like what Aphrodite has been saying lately is like, you got to show me your life. If this guy's figured out life, then his life should be, I don't mean like materially successful with all this riches, or it doesn't have to be that, but you'd think he'd have a great family relations. And even if he didn't have kids or something, he's always talking about even his own family. He doesn't get along with them and everything. And everything's just kind of blamed on basically like their NPC or normie.
he's very depressing. Like he kind of makes me sad, to be honest. It's just,
And
I
if
don't
they
know.
were, but if I feel like if he did have like a super great grasp on all of reality, don't you think his life wouldn't be seem like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like people that let other people control their life, and that's bad enough. He lets cats control his life.
Ooh, yeah, he was. If you don't know, he had the
I
like four
could,
or five cats in his house, and
yeah,
they were like pissing on the floor. And he made a video like it was totally normal. Like these cats are just piss. He has tarps laid out all over the house, and the cats are pissing on the floor and everything. Like that's what I'm
yeah.
saying though. Like with the
That kind of person has no self-respect.
you gotta look at their life as well. I think for these online gurus or whatever, and see what the results of their philosophies are.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We're only 15 minutes in here.
in the same foxhole. But I think religion is giving power away. This entire presentation.
What do you say about that? He says religion is giving power away.
Uh, religion is giving power away. Well, doesn't he believe that it's just brainwashing?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I see that it's given a lot of power to people.
is based on coming into a realization of one's own power and one's own spiritual nature that transcends this place without asking permission from a god. Sentence 2 here says you begin to win or start.
So you got to ask permission to God to do something. But in his version, you just do whatever you want, or what? I don't get it. It's not clear enough to me, I guess.
No.
To win. The first step is understanding that the version of you that's here on earth is not the whole of you. This is the higher self principle, and there's an inner knowing regarding the aspect of you that's potentially not here, but it's very hard or almost impossible to prove. The only thing that can be proven is to look at reality itself, and as we've said many times, reality gives itself away. What is it working so hard to do?
That's what he talks about, the reality itself. What does the reality itself do? And I'll keep going back to Aphrodite. What? Don't show me show me his life, right? That's going to show me where you're at on the understanding of everything. I feel like even a normie probably.
Hannibal Lecter to Clarice Starling.
Normie that doesn't chase any of these like rabbit holes probably has a way, like clearer mindset. I would think they're not as tarnished.
Yeah, right. And then it's like, well, what is all this knowledge doing for people if it's just so depressing?
Exactly.
What does he do, this man you seek? He kills women. That is incidental, Clarice, bitch. That is incidental. What does this not milk do that we seek to understand? You can tell a lot about yourself based on what it wants to do to you. It wants to make you think that all you are is what's here on earth, the ego, the part that speaks English, the frontal lobes, the body. The atheist has fallen for every bit of the not milk trick. As discussed recently, being spiritual just means you realize you're more than this. I think that's the most basic and most appropriate definition. You can talk or criticize the atheist position. That doesn't mean you're assigned into a religion or given a religion like Islam, Christianity, Buddhism. Oh, that's not a religion. Whatever it is. I don't want to. It's the worst one of all because it dictates recycling, coming back, and karma. That's the worst thought process in the world, to go into death. The worst thought process in the entire world is to think you got 40 days of bardos before coming back. As a powerful manifestor being, what chance does the Buddhist have?
So that is his philosophy then, is the soul trap theory then, basically, from what he just said right there.
Yeah, it's just like a variation of that, I guess.
Well, isn't the Buddhist philosophy basically what he's talking about? Sit back and just do nothing?
Yeah, I mean,
Similar.
yeah,
Very similar, at least. Well,
it's very
maybe
Eastern. It's very
may-
passive.
maybe he says more later because there's still more video. So I don't want to say he doesn't say do nothing. We'll see what he says.
Have being taught from day one, from birth, as they're going into the moment of death, that they've got like 10,000 more lives, and they don't even get to come right back into the body immediately. They got to go through this thing called the bardos, or Matt, that's just a Tibetan version. I don't know. I'm no Buddhist. I can't differentiate from the Beijing version, the Tibetan version, or the Taco Bell version. I don't care. But many go in. It doesn't matter. It's all your belief set, what you expect. They expect the bardos and 40 days of hell. Oh my God, they're just dooming themselves. So I've told you about.
And this is the same guy that made a video that said we're in the bardo. Actually, he cut down a tree, and now he believes we're all in the bardo. And there was like one video one day that he just made this one presentation and then like never talked about it again, basically. I don't know.
About this guy named Tony that has he is somehow communed with his higher self, or again, not Matt, the Tony that you had a beat your argument over. No, that's the other Tony. That's the Tony at the other end of the spectrum that believes everything that the nut milk serves up on CNN. The other Tony, and I don't just bow down to everything the other Tony says. The other Tony came to me with advice unsolicited. That's the difference. This is so fascinating to me. All the people, all the creeps that have reached out to me. There's always a what is it called? A Faustian bargain. They look to posit in a certain way. Matt, do you really want to know? They tempt you in some way. It's always the same NPC or minion appeal. Matt, if you really want to know this, so just reach out to me. Then you have to extend a hand. It's some sort of Faustian bargain or something. It's like they're so. Tony just said, he just starts sending me emails. No, Matt, this is what you need to understand about higher self. Completely unsolicited, completely different in that regard. I don't just again bow down. Oh, Tony said this. When I tell you, you already know. They've hidden what we already know. It needs to come out. We all have this knowledge and information. Maybe that's the purpose of this incarnation, or the Anunnaki hid it, or whatever your belief set is.
So then, basically, what he's talking about there, if we all know this information and it's hidden, isn't that the concept of the Akashic records or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
You can just learn how to tap into it. For a one page, this is it's a long ass video, and he's barely started. It seems like.
It's more than a page.
It seems like it.
It's just letting out what we already know. So Tony would send me an email. They tell you what the higher self is up to, what it's doing, its intentions.
So this is one of these like the universe dudes. The universe says this and does this, right?
Oh, but not God, the universe.
Yeah, it's
What's
not
the
God,
universe?
it's the universe.
Right.
A lot of it, the inner knowing just poured forth. So that's right. What he's talking about here, I just know deep down that that's right. So I'll just tell you, I've talked about it before, what he says. The higher self, take it or leave it, but there's some truth to this because I believe there's an aspect of me that's not here. That's one of the key bases in the entire half page or full page reality presentation. Tony would say there's something called higher self. That's you. Okay. Think of it as not as something different. Think of it as you, whatever that means. 16 candles. Who are you? I'm him. Who's he? He's me. Same thing. It's placed what you know is you, your broke ass, into this reality system. And there's a lot of others going on at the same time called a simultaneous incarnation. That's a higher spiritual level than a you, me, Dupree, and a Melvin P. That's a higher spiritual. You're higher.
Hold on. Did he just say there's multiple yous here at the same time? Is that
Yeah,
what
he
you
does the
understood?
multi-dimensional stuff, right?
I'm not sure. See, well, he's saying you have a higher self, but then he's saying you have like multiple incarnations of you here at the exact same time. Is that what? Did I hear that wrong?
That's what I heard, but
I don't care enough to
maybe
go
we
back, but
misunderstood it. I don't know.
that's how it came out. So whether or not that's what he believes, that's maybe if he's hears this, maybe he can work on kind of clearing up the explanation of that part because that's what
Yeah,
I
I mean,
thought
the
this
realm of possibility is a thing, but that doesn't mean that all those possibilities are existing simultaneously.
Higher up than these creeps. You know, I'm telling you that. Tony's told me that, but you know you are. Your inner knowing's telling you that right now. That's what's so beautiful about it. That's why you can put your feet up for the rest of the day and just sip your pina colada and enjoy yourself now. Somebody sent a comment yesterday saying, Matt, I'm so thankful you did this video. I'm so depressed. There's no reason to be. I know it's difficult. Look, what did I say at the beginning of this video? But the news for
Yeah, the depressed people are drawn to him like a moth to the flame. I noticed that in the comments.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Not that I've watched a Matt video in probably over a year.
Yeah,
But I think that's what it
EBT,
offers, though. This kind of thinking offers such hopelessness.
except for the fact that what ABT says here, except for the fact that you will be right, right? You'll die knowing that you were right because you refuse to take anything off the table. It's
Yeah, but
all
then it's like nobody knows what happens when you die, so knowing anything here doesn't really matter by that standard.
us, it's the best news of all time to come forward with these or to understand these realizations. There is no news, any information you could get at any time on earth that is better news than coming into these realizations.
what realizations? This is like his version of like finding Jesus. This is just knowing this information is the best news that you could possibly achieve in your life is to know there's like a dark reality that's trying to trick you. Is that what he's saying here?
That's what I took from it, but if that's true, which I might be misunderstanding it, I don't agree with that at all. You can't just know
So,
stuff, you have to do
well,
stuff.
yeah, just
Yeah.
know stuff. What's the higher self? Is that's like the universe version of the soul? Is that what that is?
You would have to define that. I think I hear that term a lot, and it seems to mean a lot of different things to people. One of
And
those malleable terms. I mean, is it just talking about the potential of who you could be?
I think he means, I guess I can't put words in his mouth. To me, it seems like it's like the soul, I think, or like a if he believes you're an avatar, like in a video game, the controller of the avatar.
Right.
But yeah, maybe he could define that better. Like, there's thousands of years of writings on all this shit he's talking about,
Yeah.
and he's acting
Well,
like he's discovering this or something.
yeah, I mean, as humans, though, I mean, I think your body, like, I don't believe in, like, you're just an avatar. I think your integrated body and soul and the human being is both and needs both to be human, and they work together in unison.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like him and people that kind of think like that, they just totally discredit the body and the
Yeah.
material experience and just like, that's worthless because you have a soul or a higher self or something. So
N- Yeah, I don't believe in that at all. I think your body, yeah, you're a human being. That's what you are. You can't change that just because you don't like the suffering that comes with that.
And that goes with what he said about when the jab was going hard. And he's like, well, if they kick your door down and jab you, you win, meaning that they broke karmic
Yeah.
law or something. So then you just automatically win, which I
Yeah, that's
disagree
what I
with.
pressed him on a little bit when he blocked me.
Yeah, like that you're supposed to fight back against that, right?
Yeah,
Not just
exactly. You're
let
supposed to
people
defend your
run
body. If you're letting people violate you, you're not honoring yourself.
or your family or anyone.
Yeah, your family, of course, yeah. And no, that's that's evil in my opinion. You're supposed to defend yourself.
All right, we're almost halfway done here. Let's see.
You existed before birth. You'll exist after. This is a train stop. Everything we just talked about. You're way higher than you, me, Dupree, and Melvin P. It's the best news of all time. Think of that the next time you get depressed. Matt, is this news even better than winning the multi-state lotto? Yeah, it's better than winning the multi-state lotto times about 800 trillion. If the atheist wins the multi-state lotto, they can get jacked off in the back of a speedboat for about 12 more years, and then they go into the dirt forever. Some other person then goes into the bardos. They're fucked. So this life's basically over already. If you go out of this reality system, there's no such thing.
Okay, so the best news then to know and to learn is that you just have to know to not come back here, and then you'll be out
Did
of
he
here.
say that this life is already over? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes. I think he's saying, from like a cosmic standpoint or whatever.
Okay. Like it's set in stone? Like
I do
deterministic
believe he has.
outcome?
I do believe he's very deterministic, not 100% though, but I feel like he just meant like it's kind of over in the blink of an eye.
Right.
Is time. It's all stacked on top of each other. It's all perception while we're here.
Oh, there's no such thing as time, he said. Yeah, bullshit.
Basically dead already from the perception of anything worthwhile outside this place.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he said you're basically dead already because time doesn't exist and nothing's worthwhile here.
Right. That's his
That's spoken like
opinion,
somebody with
though.
no kids.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just like listening to that all day and talking about that stuff all day is bound to make you depressed.
Yeah, I would think so. And he does so many videos too, like 5 a week or something. It's hard for me to do like that many, even just on like a StreamYard, like with other people
Oh
helping.
yeah.
So it's hard.
Who the hell would give a shit about the multi-state lotto? Matt, you're doing good. You're giving a serious presentation. Some people may be giving credence to your thoughts. Don't break down into the absurd again. I'll try my best. But this is typically where it goes. It's the only way to save myself mentally. The big part of the beginning part of this presentation is something we all know. It must operate through a trick. It must operate through deception. It's not a boxing match. You come into the ring, your opponent, Clubber Lang, which is the not milk on the other side, and you just go at it one-on-one. No, it must operate through a trick. Now, there's only one reason for that, only one possible interpretation, that ultimately you are responsible for if you win or lose.
Okay. I feel like he's talking about sin, but he's just calling it, he's got this long explanation for it, like, oh, it's the not milk trying to trick you.
Yeah. It's very overcomplicated, I feel like. Like he's talking about pretty simple terms, like you said earlier, that have already kind of been written about and expounded upon, but he's kind of talking in circles, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like old Gnostic shit. But at the same
Yeah.
time, even like it could be like you could look at the writings of like Christianity and stuff too and see the similar concepts and stuff. And there's like thousands of years worth of writings about this stuff.
Yeah.
What is a trick? Why does one play a trick? The trick is a deception. It's to get someone to do something.
And it's also the trick too is kind of the code for the deterministic thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's a trick. But what he's really talking about is like sin, I feel like. And then that's his way to justify like a sort of a deterministic mindset because it's free.
Like you're tricked into it and it's not your like free will to commit whatever act you want to commit. Oh, okay.
But at the same time, he does kind of have like the free will aspect of it too, because he does say you ultimately choose to do it.
Yeah.
And choose it themselves, where that can't be forced on them. You trick somebody, I don't know, it's a bad example, trick somebody to go into door number 2 instead of door number 1, instead of grabbing them and throwing them through door number 2. If they're grabbed and thrown through door number 2, that's not a trick. The trick is getting them to do it themselves. Therefore, if the entire reality is based on a trick, you are very clearly responsible if you win or lose. Nobody but you. It can't doom you. You have to doom yourself. Now, this is basically the greatest news of all time, other than understanding who you really are, what we just talked about a minute. Matt, you can't present the greatest news of all time every 3 or 4 minutes. It loses effect. I hear you. Okay, but this is pretty damn good news. See, it's up to you. That's these old men in a chair, these disciples, these idiot truthers running around BitChute and Odyssey and Brighteon thinking, oh, the genocide's coming and they're going to do this. They can't do it to the masses directly. They lose if they do it directly. They lose everything. We win everything. There is some sort of game being played here between.
So if they just come genocide you like governments have done forever, they just lose. Apparently. Because of karma. But at the same time, karma is not real or something. I don't get it.
What
Well, everything's on the table,
design.
right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
everything.
that's
and
the
nothing.
problem. It's like there's too much on the table at a certain point. You can clear shit off the table, no
Yeah.
problem. You can always bring it back later. You can always revise your idea and bring stuff back on the table later.
Well, yeah, that's why I also feel like it's hard to say anything like definitive about this because he could just change it at will. It's one of those safe theories.
Well, he's been talking about this like 1 page of reality and a half page forever, and
How
now
long
this
is the
is like
video?
50 minutes, 53 minutes. I
50
feel like he
minutes is
just
not a
read
page.
it like it wouldn't, but he's like going on a sidebar on each. Like he's reading parts off a sheet and then he's going off of those parts for 5 minutes off each part.
To do through its minions. The minions are role players. They come, throw me down, and inject me or do whatever to me or put the Luciferian mayonnaise in me, and if they chip my brain without my permission, they do it. Then, okay, maybe I've already won now, but I'm guaranteed to have won everything. I win all.
Nope. That's where I would disagree. Big pushback there, right? If they kick your door down and do all that to you, you win.
No.
And that's been like his stance now for 2 years.
That's just glory, like glorifying being a victim.
100%.
I'm not down with that.
I got to agree with you.
All the prizes, all the departing gifts for, I guess, for 25 or 30 years. I thought it was at the end of a game show, it was a party gifts. No, departing gifts. I thought he said the partying gifts. Departing gifts at the end of Jeopardy. That's this. You son of a bitch didn't win, but you get this vacuum fucking cleaner. So you get everything if they violate the rules of this game. It's the greatest news of all time because you're responsible for winning and losing. No one else. It says here, all of science is its silver bullet in this regard through demoralization, learned helplessness.
Sorry, go ahead.
I liked Rusty's comment of saying that he thinks Matt's actually very afraid of death because I feel like a lot of this is like being obsessed with having to know what comes next. And that's such a dangerous setup for people. You're never going to know. None of us know what happens when we die. You can speculate about it all you want, but until you get there, you're not going to know.
Facts.
Yeah, you can't hang on to it. I mean, I feel like you have to let go of that. I like not knowing. It's like that mystery. That mystery of life.
Yeah, science with the bookends of Darwin on one side and Einstein on the other. The scientists, they're not hoaxing it. They're interpreting the data that the reality gives. Okay, they're trying to do the best that they can. Most of them. Not everybody is Neil of the grass fed. There's all sorts of astronomy professors at the university of this, the university of that. They're just collecting up the data that reality is giving them, but that data is false. It's not just the news. That's the whole reality is a trick. So you believe you're the body of the ego, but they're just interpreting the data. Then that further reinforces the nature of the trick that removes somebody from the spiritual self. The Vitruvian man cuts off his own arm because he no longer even pursues that side of the tug of war. One of my favorite things to talk.
That's true. What he says is that the science foregoes all the spirituality, soul, or whatever. But then, like I said earlier, then once they get not just him, but people like that kind of get into that. Once they get into the spirituality side of it and everything, then they go the complete other way.
Yeah.
They go all in on the spirituality, and then your body's nothing but an avatar, worthless meat suit.
Talk about is that Richard Feynman. in the 60s or so, this guy came along who was a brilliant physicist, but he was the first guy ever that was this sort of scientist that actually had a personality. The first guy ever since Pythagoras that could actually make a classroom smile and laugh. So this guy was like a celebrity because none of these eggheads can do that. So he says, he makes his charismatic presentation. He looks into the camera and he says, if it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. You've heard him say that, Richard Feynman. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. Actually, Richard, that's dead wrong. Stop rolling around in your grave. That's totally wrong. Makes sense to most people what he's saying. A scientist proposes initially a theory. The sun is a Philly cheesesteak. There's actually a scientist somewhere at the University of Texas at Austin that believes the sun is a Philly cheesesteak. But then Feynman says, fine, you can have that theory. Then you experiment and you test. Does the data support your theory? Okay, if it disagrees with experiment, as most experiments on the sun would disagree that the fact that it's a cheesesteak, then it's wrong. But where is the data coming from, Richard? It's coming from a false reality itself. The well itself, where everything comes from, is false. It doesn't matter what data you're getting in. The data you're getting in and the experiment results will come to its conclusion, the false conclusion that it wants for real people. Richard, duh.
But I believe what he calls the false reality, he's calling like government media and propaganda and like academia and stuff like that. That's not actually reality though.
Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, I
That's
also feel like
how
he's using like terms like that to explain very simple things like it's propaganda.
I feel like
Already, it's
what he's
already a
saying
thing.
though is I feel like what he's saying, and I can't speak for him though. It seems like he's saying that the like because he's a Mandela effect believer, so like that the reality is constantly changing and shifting and not real. Basically, the reality itself is not real. The Maya
Sure.
illusion.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that. You're changing, not the reality.
Yes, you're changing. You read a book when you're young and read a book again when you're old, then it'll have totally different meaning to you because you
Oh,
change.
yeah, you're gonna have a totally different perspective on it.
Your
That's
consciousness
what
expanded,
changes.
everything changed in you, and that's not a Mandela effect or anything. It's just your awareness grew and stuff.
Yeah.
It would be like that scene with, was it the lady in red or the woman in red in the Matrix? Neo goes in with Morpheus. I guess that it was a program. It wasn't the real Matrix. It was meant to simulate. It was a simulacra. I just learned that word. I feel so proud of myself. It was where they went to see the woman in red was a simulacra of the Matrix. Wrap your head around that. A simulation of an original simulation. That's what this reality is, Matt. Anyway, assume it's the real Matrix. When the lady in red walked by and little, what's his name, Mouser was like, I can arrange a meeting. It's let's say Neo started taking out all his scientific devices and started testing atmosphere conditions and humidity. And Morpheus would walk over and say, what are you doing? This is the Matrix. It's all false. It's all being generated by the machine city. There's no reason to test anything. That's basically the situation we're in right now.
You're in a Hollywood movie.
Oh no, I can't with all the Matrix stuff.
I know you check out once the Matrix gets involved. If you need to go, you can go if you wanted to work on your other stuff or whatever too, because we're already 40 minutes in. I didn't think it would take this long, but I think we
Oh
got
wow, yeah, it's a long video. I thought when
yeah,
you
we're
said
only halfway.
page,
So if you want to drop out now, I can drop the link. If
I'm sure there's other people that know more about Matt in here that would be chomping at the bit to come in here to talk about
okay.
him.
So when you
So,
X out, so everyone, we've had this problem the last 2 times you were on. When you press a button or something, it shuts
yeah,
down the whole stream.
yeah, I
So
don't want to do that. So how do
I think what you need to do is just X out the tab or the browser. But to everyone in here, if the stream just dies, I'll come right back on and we'll pick up where we're at. So
not trying to kill the stream. Hopefully it won't do that. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Have a blessed Easter, everybody in chat.
yeah, peace. We'll see. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
I'm still here. We had a great Easter today. We woke up, took the kids to church, came home, made the Easter dinner. Today was a good day. So hope everyone here had a good day as well. If anyone wants to talk about this stuff, we're going to talk about the QOC1 page. I can keep playing this, or if you want to talk about any of the other concepts that he talks about or truthers that are like that. And the other thing I want to get into tonight is that Magenta that he talks about, but go play some of the UAP where he was talking about that the other night, and I couldn't believe they just straight banned me for. I wasn't even trolling. I was just asking straight up, very very soft questions about it. Maybe he's heard I'm a troll or something. I don't know. So I got the link in the chat. Let me make sure I can pin it here. Let me pin it. If anyone wants to swing through. RT said he had a good day. It's way funnier reading RT's comments after you see him. He cammed up once. He looks like I don't know, he looks like a banker or something like that. So it makes it way funnier. The stuff he says is already funny, but then once you've seen him, to me it's way funnier. We'll play a little more here. We'll see if anyone drops in or not.
Every scientist and any person that works at a university completely impotent. What if all the professors of astronomy and cosmology and all the cosmology, not cosmetology, that's a beauty school, dude. Cosmology, the cosmos, astrology, not astrology. They don't have that in universities either, astronomy. But think of, I'm pretty sure all these professors at all the liberal bastion colleges, the real liberal hellholes like Bard College and Bryn Mawr College and Wesleyan and Colgate and Vassar. I know the bigger ones in like the Ivy League, they're liberal hellholes too, but everybody knows them. Did you know about Vassar and Wesleyan and Bard College is like the worst one? They're all listening to me. And their wives, let's say they're all men in this example, can't flip-flop back and forth. They might have other partner choices. We're not going to get into that. I'm not discriminating against anyone's choices. Honey, what's the matter tonight? Honey, you're not able to perform. Well, there's this guy named Quantum of Conscience. He made a good point. He says, the entire basis of my life's work is based on a lie and a trick. I want a divorce. Matt is starting to break down into a clown show. I'm sorry. Let's get back to serious discussion. The second part of my present.
Oh, that was funny. Let's see what's going on out here in these streets, man. Cecil. Oh, it's Diesel tonight. Diesel Crake. You're the new fan favorite. Everyone loves Cecil.
Sup?
Sup, brah? We got another guy in the green room here. The world famous Truther Cop. Can't hear you, Truther.
Dude, I could talk about Matt for probably at least an hour.
Let's go. Lay it all out there.
Okay, so first of all, he was the one. I don't watch his channel anymore. I don't pay attention to his ass anymore, right? He was the one that told me about you, right?
Shout out to QOC.
And he used to talk about me all the time in his videos. Or apparently he has multiple people with my same name, right? And he's probably, for all we know, in the chat right now. It wouldn't surprise me one single bit.
It's very possible.
Shout out to QOC. I'd like to see him get into these panels, man, and I think it could only make him better. Like
me too.
Because I think what happened is at one time he was one of the furthest ahead thinkers on YouTube, and then I think he got caught up with all these like sycophants in the comments just blowing smoke up his ass, and then he kind of refused to kind of keep sharpening his ideas.
I'd like to see him, over here in the dark alley behind my house.
Oh, really?
Sometime, like anyway, so I used to go in his comments because a lot of what he was saying seemed a lot like Buddhism. And I would ask him, I was like, bro, do you consider yourself a bodhisattva? Right? A bodhisattva in the Buddhist religion is a Buddha that has achieved Buddhahood, but stays behind to try to like shepherd others along into ascension. And he would like ignore the question. I asked probably a dozen times. He would always just ignore it. So after a while, I just stopped asking him. He actually read one of my emails in one of his videos like a year ago under Shat Bricks. And anyway, yeah, that dude is just he's like, what is it? Jim Morrison said in his book, he's like, look, the doors of perception will only swing open so far before they start to swing shut again. And I think that's where Matt is at. Like he enlightens people, and it gets to like an apex, and then now he's on the other side of like not enlightening people so much more, like trying to lead people, or maybe not even intentionally leading people astray, but he is definitely doing that. You know, with all this fucking hobo codes, dude. I was like, dude, make a bit shoot, okay? 9/11 was an inside job. Say it with me, bro. Come on. You know, like anyway.
There's
What were
some
you
well, the thing that QOC pointed out to me was the tire that shot through the building on 9/11. And I very much appreciate the tire and its manufacturer. And I really feel like they should do an advertising campaign.
Build it around that.
Exactly. And according to EBT, that was Goodyear. So, you know, Goodyear
Well,
more like good tire, you know?
I stand by. He was one of the furthest ahead, like on YouTube at one point, like right before COVID. Speaking of EBT, what's up?
What's happening?
Ultraviolet.
What's good, man?
It's like
You know.
Sex and Violence is the song that reminds me of. Sex and Violence.
Out here in these streets promoting that
Oh, man.
ultraviolet agenda, magenta agenda as they call it these days.
I like. Is that shirt still on your website, CBO?
TalkBodyOutline.com.
It is. I was
Buy one for
scrolling through it
yourself
last night.
and buy one for your family members. I'll double
Right.
check.
Oh,
I'll make
man.
sure it's still on there.
Buy 13.
I didn't see
shirts.
that one. I saw the other one I wanted.
Double check.
13 shirts.
Yeah, it's old lore.
What is the greatest alternate acronym we can come up with for EBT?
Let the chat decide that.
My favorite is extra beta tranny.
Oh,
Got him. How you ever gonna recover, dude? It's over for you.
well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he knows about the time that I was duped by that one tranny. What's her
He did say some tranny was hot on a stream or something. It was an obvious reversal.
No, it was not obvious. Okay.
To those with eyes to see, it was obvious.
No. Other people fell for it too.
Mhm.
Tap
I just err on the side of tranny nowadays. That way you can't be wrong.
I'm sorry I started that.
It's weird. The mirroring's weird.
Oh, good, man.
How many studios do you have, EBT? You have 2, right?
No, just the one.
It's just like I think the camera's just in different spots all the time.
No, I moved things around a little bit.
Every time? Wow.
No, I moved stuff around a little bit. I'm still in the same corner, same hood. I'm still here.
Representing, bro.
I know you like to talk shit about Matt. What do you got to say?
No, I mean, I hate to interrupt. I mean, Diesel was cooking, so let Diesel cook. Then I guess I'll just
Anyway,
jump in when
my real name is Tony.
Tony.
Yeah.
So you're the Tony he's talking about on the channel or what?
At one point, he was talking about like up to 3 different Tonys.
See,
And-
Tony.
Yeah.
I had people on Instagram DMing me about you. And I'm
Probably
like,
not.
I had no idea. I have no idea who he is. I don't know. He jumped in on a panel. I had never heard of him before, so I don't know. But yeah,
But
people were asking me about you, and then they were giving me some kind of inside details, but I didn't pay much attention.
So if you go back through Matt's comments, I haven't left a comment on one of his videos in probably a year or so, right? But my name on YouTube is American Patriot, and I would always end my post with, "This is Tony, by the way."
Oh, I thought you were Mason Free.
You thought I was what?
Mason Free in the chat. I thought that was you.
No.
Wait, what?
And then-
Was you on IG?
I don't really do IG that much.
I remember an American Patriot. Was your was your profile pic like a lion with like
It's a
an American flag lion?
It's an American flag, and that's it.
Okay.
I have impersonators and trolls and dick riders and shit like that. It's, you know, there's some confusion. I have a certain level of mysticism around my aura, or whatever you want to call it.
Cecil. So what I wanted to point, you have a vegan lasagna recipe floating around out there.
Oh yeah, that's my old channel. Yep.
I seen that one the other day.
What's
That
that
was-
one? I missed all that lore.
Yeah. Fill me in, please.
Well,
I had a,
oh.
did you?
Are you-
Anyway,
are you-
I had
are you-
a cooking channel on YouTube like 10 years ago that never went anywhere. I had it as a part of my resume at one point. I work in kitchens a lot, and it never really took off. So I've lost the password and it's still hanging out on YouTube somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Gotta find
yeah. That happened in my first channel. If you just put in Cecil Drake, so Diesel Craig here, switched his acronyms just like Rid Cock. Is that you, Cecil?
No.
No, okay. Rid Cock, not Kid Rock.
Mirroring. Yeah, you got to watch out for the people mirroring.
Cross
these.
them off the list. Truth or comp. Scratch them off.
Boom. All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, anyway, so Matt and I went back and forth a couple of times in emails, and he always pretends like he just doesn't have the time for shit. Send me short videos. I don't have time to listen, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to listen to it while I'm writing something or whatever. So after a while, I just got tired of the shit. But yeah, he's definitely somebody, to quote you, Drew, he's definitely not somebody that should be giving life advice. And that cat video is like where he's talking about, oh, I clean up a cat's piss all the time.
All
It's
day.
like
Okay, it's one thing if you actually live that life and do that, but to post that on the internet, like, that's a whole another level of like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, have you never heard of like rubber gloves or anything, dude? It's like, I think what he's trying to do is like dog whistle to say like, I take care of misfits that nobody else wants.
Well, no, he's pandering to the audience because the majority of them are shut-ins with cats.
Could be.
Sure.
But those cats were really there pissing on everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Or were they? Were they though?
Is it a deep fake?
Yeah. How do we know?
I think it's
How do we
real.
know?
I would think if I was him, I'd build like a little house for them outside or something. You could build like a little catio or something where they could be pissing.
Did you just say a catio?
Yeah,
Catio.
that's a thing. A catio is a thing. You could build them like a catio outside where they're just pissing. They can destroy that, and when the cats are gone, you could just burn all the wood.
Oh, wait, I just saw a similar. Wait, where?
okay, so just on a side note, do any of you guys know about Transforming the Darkness?
Reagan,
Yeah.
that's
Reagan.
that's Legends, girl.
Do you
Yeah.
see?
Low budget Oracle Bridget.
Do you see Rid Cock's comments from 2 minutes ago? He's mentally retarded.
I mean,
What do you got to say about Transforming the Darkness, Cecil?
dude, I like a cute blonde as much as the next guy, but like all the woo-woo foofy shit. I mean, at one point she was talking about drinking your own piss and stuff, and like,
What?
and,
Drink her
Yeah.
piss, though?
urinotherapy or some crap, and I was like,
Yeah, what's his face smashed that probably.
Who did?
What's his fuck? The one that's with Aphrodite. I can't remember his name all of a sudden.
Oh, the piss drinker guy.
Yeah.
Now this is
Flat Earth
The
Paradise.
chat probably doesn't know who this is, so I gotta show you guys.
Devin Maggi.
Yeah, Devin Maggi, the piss drinker. This is Reagan Transforming the Darkness.
she's about 5 feet tall. I like Nordic looking girls too, man. So, but the brown
she's a Palladian starseed, I think, right?
yeah, something
Yeah, I
like
was gonna
that.
say it's got something to do with the alien the races, right?
I think she might be a reptoid using a holographic device or something like that.
No, not her.
Oh yeah,
Or
Say
a
it
middle
ain't so.
worker, maybe?
Say it ain't so.
Please.
totally. I think it's a reverso. Y'all
This
got-
might prompt. This might be the prompt to get Legend on a panel. Talking
He's
shit
gonna
about
come
his-
in and defend Reagan. That's his.
Yeah.
That's his dream woman.
Well,
Mhm.
that's the thing is that Matt used to take shots at her all the time over her philosophy. If you really look at her like from the surface, I mean, I'll be honest, I watch her because she's hot and she likes to say positive shit. Okay, that's it. I'm not into her Dungeons and Dragons crap or whatever the fuck, right? But you know, Matt used to take shots at her about the stuff she likes to say and whatever. And it's like, look, dude,
I
back
thought he
off.
shouted her out before. That's the only reason I heard of her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's why a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, just like with you. Yep, I heard about her from him.
And then he was taking shots.
Like, I mean, jealous of how cute she is or some shit. I don't know.
Does she have cats?
No, he was looking to put her in one of his torture closets there in the garage is what was happening. Trying to
The
recruit her for
Kung Fu
Kung Fu Golf 2.0 or something. You know she golfs. She looks like she golfs.
But she's
She
the
got
type
a
of
golf
people she
body,
do.
just
Her
like the
dad
other
got her
chick.
dad got money and they go golfing. I guarantee it.
She's always talking about going down to Florida with her boyfriend and shit. And she does have cats, and she casts spells of protection on her cats as well.
Oh, really?
I guarantee her boyfriend's got dreads. Her boyfriend probably got dreads. I guarantee it.
He looks like a big ass bearded frog. Look at her Instagram.
Oh, it's on there.
Frog.
She's had so many horny
Gay frog,
options
probably.
fucking go after her about having a significant other that she posts pictures of him like kissing her on her IG and shit.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. That's bad optics.
Transforming the dingleberries on IG.
She's gotta she's gotta squash that shit and get all these simps to send her that money.
She's trying to like sell like something called like raw Reiki aura hypnosis or whatever. And I'm looking at her like, girl, anything that I do with you called raw is like not gonna involve rubber. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't doing like no hypnosis over the internet with you or none of that shit. You know, like, fuck that.
No, yo. Looks like donut. Her
Let's see.
boyfriend looks like no, you can't
see it.
Oh, you
Hold
can't
on.
see it. Yeah,
Hold on,
you
try
can't-
it again. I got it full. Yeah, I don't.
No, you can't see
Turn
it.
on the brightness on the screen.
Looks like donut. Yeah, hold on. Let's see.
Is it Donut? Damn. What up? It's your boy Donut. You checking
we
out
go.
that
Yeah.
Illuminati news? Okay, let's see.
Man bun confirmed.
No.
Look at
Oh,
that.
man
What the fuck
bun.
is he
Got a
wearing? Some
Got the
patchwork?
Technicolor. Yeah. Patchwork shirt, Technicolor jacket. Yeah.
It probably smells like patchouli or something, you know.
Definitely, 100%.
Can't
Yeah.
believe these man bun, man.
That's what the ladies wanted. The man bun.
Shave your head and get a job, hippie.
I bet
Exactly.
Yurt
Get
would
a
have a
job.
shot at her. Shout out to Yurt.
Where's Europe and Benton? Is Benton just on cannabinoids too much?
I don't know. Maybe
He's
he died. Or,
cannabinoided out.
Yeah, maybe he
Doesn't
died
like-
of those gas station research chemicals too.
he doesn't like when we make fun of that he died, but he makes fun of that he's gonna die.
I know. Shout out to Benton for dying like a man
what's going
on
on over
live
here?
You want me to lock you in the closet again? Fucking here. Okay, listen.
Listen.
Okay. Hey, Mom, don't say my full name, okay? What does everybody call me, even you? What's my name?
Idiot.
Whatever.
Look at her
Got
laughing.
him. Got him.
The military industrial complex is paying me to run drone T-62s over in Ukraine right now. This is my interface. Anyway,
This shit's funny as hell.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
it sounds great.
Was that your mom?
That's my mom, yeah.
Does she watch Archaics?
No.
She a,
No,
she a mod over
doesn't
there.
know- she doesn't know what the internet is, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she doesn't know what the internet is.
Plotting to kill you or something behind you.
Oh yeah.
Hey, put her back on camera. I want to know what she thinks about all this.
Hell no.
What does she think happens when you die?
I don't know. I haven't died yet.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Probably be my same answer, as a matter of fact.
Good answer. Yeah.
Come back over there and whine.
Where do you guys are? You guys Polish, Eastern European? Where you guys hail from?
I'm Dutch.
Dutch.
Yeah. Well, my father was an Italian, but we're like she's like descended from like Quakers and Amish people.
Pennsylvania Dutch. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's a few generations back, but yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
She's lurking again. Like a shark in the waters, man. She's ready to pounce.
Yeah, anyway.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, tell your mom Happy Easter from everyone here. Happy Easter.
Yeah, shout out to Mama Drake.
Mama Drake.
So now you guys get to guess my age.
42.
44.
Anybody else? I'll be 44 in May.
In May?
Yeah, so you're actually closer.
34.
I'll be
34. He's complimenting him.
Drink lots of water. You can stay this young and beautiful looking forever.
Forever.
What kind of water? What kind of water though?
Bottled water, definitely
Bottled
not Mexican.
Yeah. Oh man.
I like that fire water. That's the one I like.
We know you do.
That's right.
Did you watch EBT? Did you watch the let me see if I can bring it up. Did you watch the UAP video about the Magenta?
No, I couldn't.
Oh,
I just couldn't put myself to do that. No.
Well, you saved yourself a lot of time.
I was a big fan of UAP like years ago when he first started coming around like first started coming around to Globebusters. By the way, R.I.P. the Globebusters dude. He passed away. Bob Nodell.
I don't know this guy.
I don't know who that is.
UAP is underrated actual physicist is what his name stands for. He was one of the guys. He was one of the guys early on in Mud Flood, and then he was also one of the guys early on with the idea that like the space shuttle is a balloon, like the space shuttle is an inflatable. Was kind of where he got big into the conspiracy world.
Ooh, okay. So you mentioning Mud Flood reminds me. I wanted to bring up this one channel about this guy. He likes to talk about like alternative history and Tesla and shit like that. The name of the channel is called Divergence, and the guy that runs it is named Nico. He's this German guy.
Divergence.
I never heard of it. Let's look it up here. I'll look it up.
What's up?
What's up, Bernie?
Happy Easter, fam. Hope you all had your ham or turkey or whatever it is. We had ham.
Chicken here.
I had country fried steak and gravy.
Ooh, country fried steak, EBT. What about you, Truth Cop, Drew?
No, I just had the airman. That's what I had.
You had what?
The airman.
Breatharian now?
Yep, breatharian.
I had the ham.
Our Aryan? Aryan?
Arian. What's this hoodie now you got on today? This
Whoa.
Yeah, got a bandolore or what you call it? Viva Cristo Rey, yeah.
Right, so I had to bring out the Christian Audige because I guess Luma Tommy didn't like my Zoo York too much.
That hoodie's
Dang.
dope. That hoodie is dope. Oh, damn, look at the inside. That's some sick shit, dude.
Hold on, let me get in there. Hold on, let's see. What's
Ooh, yeah, silk and everything. Some Christian Audige. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's that 8K subscriber drip right there.
My uncle, oh yeah.
Dang, that's like $120 hoodie probably right there.
That's like a $500
least.
hoodie. It's Christian Audigier. It's silk, dog. It's silk.
Oh
and
my
Silk,
lord. Damn.
shit. This guy
Damn.
used to do things before streaming.
Drip.
Shit. I got my $30 fucking Wrangler fucking plaid on. So
And that was
Check out this. I
500.
paid
it's
extra for
fuzzy on
these.
the it's fuzzy on the inside.
This Canadian bought this hoodie down in Vegas, so you know, like that's like $1 million Canadian bucks.
Right.
Shit.
All right, I gotta get back to the fam jam. Love y'all. Happy.
Be well
All right,
now.
man,
Love it.
peace out.
Take care.
I love you, Bernie.
Okay, Cecil, what was the channel you just said again?
It's called Divergence, like the movie.
What does it talk about? I don't know if I'm finding the right one here. Divergence is the name of the channel.
Correct. It might be Divergent, but I don't think so. I think it's Divergence.
It's like oh, here it is. I think Mud Flood, right?
Yeah,
Okay, let's
he's really into like showing like old photographs.
Oh, that guy's a retard. That guy's a complete fucking retard. He always does all the videos on like OnlyFans girls and stuff. He's like, look at this girl. She was a school teacher. Now she makes $400,000 a month.
That was
What's
like
wrong with doing
videos.
this? No, that guy.
That was like-
No, he constantly does videos on OnlyFans girls. He's a total.
Okay, well maybe I just don't pay that close
He's
attention.
a total simp coomer. Yeah, this dude's a complete fucking retard.
But some of the stuff he talks about with like Tesla and like how old
he's a complete
coaches
fucking
are
retard.
like energy transference
Yeah, he's a complete fucking retard.
and what was it, old paintings and shit and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty interesting. Old architecture. I guess there's a section of the Trooper community that's like nothing.
He thinks OnlyFans is gonna save the economy.
All right, well that's kind of like ad hom, don't you think?
No, because why
Well,
would that be ad hom?
What
Because
it is? What
You're
it is
attacking him instead of his argument.
That's his argument. I'm not attacking him.
But what he's also pointing out here is that people aren't standing for the truth. Is that they'll sell out at a certain point. You just have to name the right sales pitch, right, and then they'll sell the truth for something, and that's what he's alleging this person has done.
Am I thinking of something? Oh yeah, no, yeah. Maybe he deletes all those videos. He was doing them back to back
Oh,
to
here it
back
is.
to back.
Wives hate her. Here it is. 10K.
Yeah,
a month.
yeah. He has some really retarded
27
takes.
million OnlyFans Amaranth. Oh yeah,
He
he has.
left him up too.
He had
Yeah.
like this is only a month ago. He had like a string.
I don't
of
really pay that close attention, to be honest with you, but some of
No,
his
that's
other
fine.
stuff seems interesting.
There's some Reptoid shit right there.
Yeah, no.
Up. Next one there. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not a fan of that don't attack the messenger, just the message thing. Well, overall his
No, you
message is
should-
fucking
yeah,
retarded. His message is fucking retarded overall. So
Yeah, and sometimes a messenger is also fair game. That's what it is.
This guy makes tons of videos. That video was only like a minute long. A lot of these videos are just like 2 minutes. Look at 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 20 seconds.
Well,
Dude's
he's not
putting
doing lives like us. Instead, he's just doing the.
Well, let's see. He
Boom,
was
boom,
putting
boom,
out
boom,
like
boom.
4 videos a day, it looked like.
he reminds me of that Florida Marquee guy too, because he does the same thing where he promotes like OnlyFans as a way for like women to be independent.
What is that shirt?
He's ripped, bro. He's ripped.
I don't know how I missed all this shit. I don't know. Like,
Look at his crazy ass lion blanket on the bed.
Oh my god!
You know this dude's an incel with that blanket on his bed.
It's a fucking it's a
He
single.
got,
Is he a MGTOW dude?
he got it at the mall, man.
I think he is a MGTOW guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it's
went
like
to the
a,
mall
it's like
and
a
bought that
twin
shit.
bed.
oh, you know what? That's the thing that I was watching for. Is he says that like he's a believer that like there used to be like a giant humanity a long time ago, and there's like been several resets, and humans used to be a lot bigger than they are now, and
Yeah, the same old same script that all
Right.
of them. Yeah.
Look at
Nothing
this
new
twink.
there.
Look at this
Look
twink.
at, yeah.
Oh, is he role playing now? Oh,
What in the hell, dude?
what? Yeah, he'll do anything for views, won't he?
This dude, you know, he goes into the store in that shirt too. You know he does. What's up, girl? What's up, girl? I don't know. I'll have to check.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of this dude. He has some pretty retarded takes.
How many subscribers does he have? Damn, almost 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a TikTok too. I bet a lot of people come from the TikTok.
Dude, I got 10,000 subscribers on TikTok in like a month and a half.
Really?
But it's the same thing as YouTube, where when you go live, it's the same thing.
What do you mean? Like not as many people show up?
Yeah, it's just like YouTube, where you can get 10,000. Like I was able to pull. I've had streams on TikTok like 500 or 900, a couple of them. I was able to pull a few hundred easily, but then I got 10,000 subscribers because I was filming the People's Convoy, just the right way. It was easy, and then immediately you change topic, just like on YouTube. It all shifts. Your audience, it's very segmented. They're trying to segment everything. The moment you shift the topic, it's, you have a different audience all of a sudden.
So it's all based on like that algorithm. Like you got to just be in that one little niche.
Yeah, you had to follow some kind of a sales thing, but if you try to bridge anything, they kind of segment it off or something. It's weird. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I've never fucked with it, so I don't know.
At first, he seemed like one of these guys that, like, you know how there's like certain toxic topics that like are total bullshit, right? And then they'll throw those topics in with stuff that might actually be true, to like, oh well, this guy seems like he's legit, but he also believes in this stuff over here, so he's a nutcase. And it's trying to throw discredit on some potentially real stuff. That's how he struck me at first.
And that's what they do with every movement.
Or it could just be a fucking retard. That could also be the other possibility.
You guys kept up with the Jurassic drama lately?
No. What's going on with that? I'm interested.
If you guys ain't watched Jurassic in a while, let me fill you in.
I ain't watched since he called me a butt plugger.
I've never seen this one.
You've never seen this dude, Truth or Cop?
No.
Okay, hilarious as fuck, dude. He's funny. Yeah. His name's Jurassic Liars 26. And he's got this theory. He's got this theory about Elvis, Obama, and Donald Trump, and those are like the three, the Antichrist Trinity. Basically, that's basically what every video is about. And he's got like the same 2 dates of this prediction for years. It's like it's gonna happen on these specific dates. But anyway, so he was living in this place forever, and then he all of a sudden, out of the blue, he kind of went away just for a little bit, maybe like a month or two. And then he pops up. He's in a brand new apartment. He's looking good. He's all trimmed up, shaved up, looking happy. And he said he met a wife. Somebody wifed him up, and he was like living with this wife. And
he's part of Talcott Squadron, is what he is. Yes, certainly. They got unleashed at the same time.
Oh, this dude's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's trying to take the Jew out of the education system, people.
And anyway, so he was looking good. He's in a car. I've never seen him in a car. He's doing great, it looked like, with this wife. And he's like, yeah, we're married in the eyes of God. like meaning not married for real by the state, but whatever that means. But anyway, and then 2 nights ago, he pops up. He's in a hotel talking about, his wife's mother was there meddling. And then he had to move out because the mother was meddling or whatever.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so now he's living staying in a hotel. And he's taking calls, and he's got that one guy that paranoid panda dude that's just on his ass. And the guy's calling, just dropping the N-word in every call.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How's he affording to live in a hotel?
Well,
Damn.
that's his thing. He's like, I can't really do this much longer. So what he's doing is he's kind of asking for help. But he's also stubborn and refuses to accept like any kind of donation or anything.
That's Talcott, bro. That's what Talcott does.
But he's asking for like if someone's where he lives, if they can rent him a room or something like that, because he's spending like $175 a night on hotel because it's Easter. So
Talcott
shout out
got
to
some money
Jurassic.
somehow. Not telling
Shout out to Jurassic. He needs some
All right.
prayers.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna give it a listen.
Oh, dude, it's funny. I don't even know where to tell you to start. I did a stream with him before. Go on my channel and search for it because he kind of lays out the whole theory. It's a in-depth theory. It's kind of funny. But that's the latest on Jurassic. He needs your prayers. Yeah, he's looking kind of rough here in the hotel. Looks like he's going through some turmoil. He was looking good at the wife's house. Shout out to Jurassic Liars, man.
Well, you know what happened? The mom came over and he started talking about the Jews.
I said, well, I asked him on the one stream, which he's now deleted. I was like, what happened? Did you start telling the mom about Elvis, Trump, and Obama? And he said, no, she watches my channel, The Mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he's like, she's probably watching right now, you old hag, you
Oh,
bag.
shit.
Starts going off. Basically, he was just saying like she was meddling and he's up in that house like, this is my house. I'm the man of the house.
Well, that's what he would say. He'd always say his sister's meddling when she was just trying to like bring him food and shit or something.
Oh, man.
Hopefully,
Make sure he's okay.
Hopefully, he gets his stuff together. But I want to go back to this UAP one real quick, where the whole video on Magenta.
The Magenta. Yeah.
I got to step out for just a minute, so I don't know. Be right back.
Do your thing. So I don't even really want to play it. It's so like nonsensical. But basically, then he talks about. I'm just making sure you can see it. I can't even say it. This video that he shows here, he says this is a black and white video, and that magenta is even bleeding through. On old black and white videos, there's like magenta bleeding through. So then, similar to QLC, I believe he doesn't specifically say it, but I feel like he's co-signing what QLC is saying, that when you see magenta, somehow this means the AI has taken over and the magenta bleeds through or something like that. So this was an old video about icebreakers that he was playing.
Oh yeah.
To me, the video looks like it's actually in color, but the color is faded. This video doesn't look old enough to be a black and white video to me.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
I just saw something about Martin Luther King and all his black and white photos. That most of them were actually taken in color, but they made them black and white.
Really?
That's yeah. I didn't fact check that one, but I just saw it today.
Freemasonry?
I don't know what it was. It was just a fact of what it was, I think.
So here it is. There's magenta behind Darth Vader. So that's proof that the magenta is bad. I think the theory goes, when you see magenta, that's bad. But when you see green, emerald green, that's good. Like, this is literally the Truthing 2023.
Well, the emerald green and the magenta are complementary colors, right? And we saw the other day, like, hold up.
So emerald green and magenta are complementary somehow?
Well, like on the color wheel, like they're opposites.
Watch how
Look at
the
that.
green,
Oh,
the green
that's why you were
laser,
shining it. Yes.
the green laser transfers into magenta.
Okay,
it's the opposite end of the color spectrum.
I was trying to clip you doing that earlier. Oh my goodness.
That green is going all the way back to the Apple IIe, right? Like that's what
there's never an Apple. So.
But I mean, it was like the original other color for computers. Green.
You're talking about the old.
Oh, the screen was green. Yeah, the screen was green.
Is that where they're getting that from then? Because I didn't follow the leap in logic to that this color somehow represents AI.
I don't. It's just a leap. There's no direct connection.
When they went from analog or from analog to digital, it was red, green. Roy G. Biv was the main colors.
RGB, right? Because that's what the human eye sees RGB, and then everything else in between is a variation of. And then we went to CMYK, right?
Yeah, we went to something else, a different color spectrum for the new television, digital.
Right, and that's why printers use magenta. One of the colors of the ink that they use is magenta. And then allegedly magenta doesn't exist within the color spectrum.
I didn't understand that. That basically what he was saying: brown, black, white, gray, and magenta don't exist. I was like, what the hell?
Which doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess the word magenta. They also say the same thing with violet, because like Newton invented a color so that it would match up with, so that there would be 7 base colors in a rainbow or whatever, and there's not actually 7 colors in a rainbow. That's part of it, but
it's very weird to me. And then when you look in, to me, it's a lot of like wordplay to try to just make it sound like you have this like profound revelation or something, like magenta doesn't exist or something like. But when you look into it, there's like something called there's an additive color, and which is used by like physics and stuff for biology. And then there's a totally different theory called subtractive color, which is used by artists. And so the additive color, that's the RGB, and the subtractive color is the CMYK spectrum. So magenta is one of those base colors. Magenta and yellow make red in the CMYK spectrum. So it's just like 2 totally different things, which are complementary to each other, but they're ignoring one half of it to just kind of, I don't know, to make a video, make it sound like you have some kind of.
Well, I personally though, I think because I was noticing this like years ago, right? When I was
story about it,
when I was going through, but I considered the color to be ultraviolet in nature because I feel like it's a range, and magenta technically kind of is in between that red and violet color spectrum or whatever. But I was noticing this, and a lot of the stuff is you are seeing this shift to this color, right? The color is all over the place, and then even with Pantone making magenta the color of the year for 2023, you see, and then like the chat GPT, their color scheme is the green going into the magenta, right? And then we have like the Northern Lights is green and magenta, and there is, I do believe there's something to it, and but to assign anything to it, I think is a little out there. But it definitely seems like there's a transition to this color to some extent.
No, isn't every time you have a new color that's added to the spectrum, it's a new way of seeing everything.
And then like T-Mobile, like the color for 5G is magenta. And like there is all kinds of weird stuff with the color. You got Shaq out there. He talks about that in the one video. You got Shaq in his commercial shouting magenta, magenta, magenta. And there's something strange about it, but I who knows what it is.
When there's a new color added to the spectrum of consciousness, it's interesting to see the impact and where it shows up. Because if it is representative of the 5G, it's interesting they chose this newer magenta color, as well as it's a new visual pattern that we can tie it to.
Right.
Try and imagine a new color. It's like impossible.
Well, and then there's like the idea that like the Greeks didn't see blue because they didn't have a word for blue and that kind of stuff. Like,
and the orange was like one of the last colors too, or most recent colors is orange.
Try and imagine a 13-sided pyramid.
Up your butt.
Don't you?
Made of argon.
You cut this category's dice in half.
13-sided period right there. I just synced it.
Synced it.
So I don't know. You know, I went through this whole phase where I was constantly seeing this fucking color everywhere, and it was like it was really fucking with my head. And then I started noticing the shift with all these all these new light installations and buildings and bridges and all this kind of stuff, and it was all promoting this color. And then you had the alleged accidental installation of these faulty LED streetlights that use this color and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, like, I'm not gonna I wouldn't discredit it as a whole, but I think the way that they're going with it, I think there's no basis for it, but I think noticing it I notice it myself, so I can't fault anybody else for noticing it, that it seems to be a prominent color for some reason now all of a sudden.
T-Mobile used to use it or still does use it.
No, they still do. I mean, it's their 5G color, yeah.
Dare we ignore it? It's all over EBT. I mean, dare we ignore this? That's magenta.
What UAP's saying though in this video is that even in black and white photos and videos, that there's magenta like seeping through the black and white, which I don't know how he can justify that. I mean, there is this video to me that he shows. I wish there was like a source for it, because it looks like a damn color video that just all the color faded out of or something.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is supposed to prove.
Do you know when? I'll ask you this. I'll pose you this question right here.
I think it's just a good color that shows up on LCD screens. I think
digital devices. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why Twitch is kind of based around. Everyone on Twitch has like a purple background and stuff.
When do you think that the first video conferences, like live stream, like a Zoom call, just one-on-one, when do you think the first ones ever happened?
Skype?
Like like at the first Skype.
1930s, there were like booths you could go in and you could do like telecalls.
Yeah, the Nazis made it happen. The Nazis had communication lines like in the 20s.
Yeah.
And then they spread video conferences. Like they could see each other. So
yeah, but they were all racist. Let's attack them.
And so they made it black and white. That's why they did it.
It's because they were racist. I swear, not because they had advanced technology or anything. It's because they were racist. That's why we had to attack them.
That's racist.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what I know of that, but I've never looked deep into it. And what I know about television, I would wonder what kind of screens, what kind of screen technology they were using at that time.
It's mainstream accepted history. Is that
no? I'm not saying that it's not. Yeah. I'm wondering what was it, a mechanical television? Was it some kind of tube, or what were they using?
I mean, I couldn't find the links.
The other shit, well, this is what I got banned for when I was over at UAP talking about this. I was like, okay, why would... Because I think they're going into the what do you call it, retro causality. Like these magentas weren't in these movies in the past, and now they're there now or whatever. And I was trying to get them with like, well, why? And they were saying, well, the reality's changing. And then I said, okay, well, can a person change gender? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well then why can the reality change?
Banned.
If a gender, and I was just instantly banned. If a gender is like a subsection of reality and you can't change that, and they just like kicked me out, and I was like, okay, this is ridiculous.
It's like the new religion now, man. How dare you be a heretic against that shit?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just, you just need to make a video. You need something cool to talk about, so you got to just pull some shit out of your ass and just say anything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it could be an interesting theory if you're willing to take the kind of the criticism and help like build it up.
I'll put it in the private chat. Here's the official history of video. The TV, wow, it's very long for some reason, but there's a more specific one about the.
My mom was telling me about when the first TVs, they actually had They actually like back in like the 50s and the 60s, where like the screen was like this big, but the freaking set was actually the size of almost like a refrigerator or something.
Yeah.
And
that's where Farnsworth allegedly invents the image dissector, and this is what makes electronic TV possible.
I have disagreements on this already. It starts in the 1920s, but that's what somebody else said. But it wasn't about let me skip ahead a
It
little.
dates back to 1800s. It says.
Yeah. The concept, like they were starting to think about
there was mechanical television before, but in the 20s is when Farnsworth comes up with the camera technology, which is the image dissector that makes electronic TV possible. Before then, it was essentially like a spinning wheel, like a mechanical spinning wheel that was able to recreate images sent over wire.
Like film.
See, I think at some point we were actually like way more advanced than we were, and then people just started like discovering or rediscovering rather these older technologies, and then all of a sudden, wow, I'm the discoverer. Yeah, you're the most recent discoverer of that technology.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with
Tesla. Just looking at this to me proves too that they purposely like kind of slow brew or suppress the technology, because here it's saying 1870s they have the concept, but then they can't even do it till at least they don't tell you they can do it till the late 1920s. So that's 50 years.
I looked this up 6 months ago, and it started in the 1920s. So even in 6 months, we've gone back 50 years in history all of a sudden, as far as internet searches. So it's like we're going, we're collectivizing data, I guess. It's fascinating.
The funny thing though about what my mom was telling me is that her mom took the television in the backyard and hit it with a shovel.
Why?
Because she knew it was evil or something like that.
You say that, yeah.
And we're talking like in the 50s and shit, when tech was like supposedly first coming out, Like,
I'm not exactly this. This is a pretty dubious article that we're reading off of here as well.
Yeah, it's not the best. There's a lot of details missing. I think it's the official narrative though.
I don't think it is personally.
Oh, well, it's Google's first search result. So Google approved of this, and we're on Google's platform. So Google's rules apply, EBT. Sorry.
I mean, the first search result, that's pretty reliable. Right?
I had a buddy that did exactly what you were talking about, Cecil, too. His dad, he said his dad was totally normal, and then one day was watching TV and just totally freaked out and was like, "The TV is the devil!" and like smashed the TV, and then became like basically like a truther like years and years ago after he had that epiphany.
Well, I don't think that was exactly the case with my grandma. She just like could like spiritually feel that like it was like wrong, and like got rid of it. But if you look at some of the later, like when I was a kid, they always told you not to sit too close to the TV, right? Well, it was like a cathode ray. It was like literally a ray like beaming out of this fucking thing,
Right. Or the microwave, yeah.
And that's what me and my wife always talk about when we look at these like gamers. You pull them up. I'll see if I can pull some up. We say they have the ray. It looks like they've just sat in front of a TV so long, and it's almost like a Down syndrome type look for these people. People that play like games all day. You can kind of see
play games all fucking day.
All day. They play games all day and they look weird.
They look retarded and shit. All their hair falls out.
Yeah, they got hit with the ray.
Can you help me with my shopping list? Hello? So fucked up. My shopping list needs help. What?
I said you're on your own.
Doing something.
Did you find the first one, EVT?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you find the first one? What was this one?
Like this guy's a huge gamer. This is a perfect example. You see people out in public that look like this. They're like gamers. They got the ray, like 20%.
Oh wow.
Just 20, just a little smidgen.
Oh
Of it.
yeah.
If you put on like the glasses from They Live, you can see they got like a burnout mark on their forehead or some shit, right? They're just like
I could
burnt.
the Hoffman lenses from They Live. Who's using the private chat? Oh damn, EBT using the private. I've
Yeah,
never
he's
seen
got
this
he's
before.
got a fresher link than me in there.
All right, let's see.
Well, the device is it looks just like a modern day like webcam. from
Okay, now
50 years ago.
EBT, if you remember, one of the first streams you and I ever did on Instagram, I used that for the cover. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I used that exact thing right there.
But I'm not finding this idea that Bell was involved that early on, and I don't know. I had to fact check this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, look at this shit here.
It all literally goes back.
AT&T archives site. I've looked at this on stream before. There's some really good shit on that site.
Yeah, that is a really good site. Yeah.
Like it's a YouTube channel, AT&T archives.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm seeing it. Yeah, I'm just wondering how the transmission worked if they didn't have Farnsworth electronic. Yeah, it was a mechanical television.
What does that mean? Can you
It's like
explain that real quick?
it's like a spinning
I'll
disc
pull
with
it up.
lights. Yeah, pull it up. Yeah.
Pull it up. Mechanical television.
So it wasn't a. This is before tube television.
Before
Yes.
like an electronic television.
Well, not necessarily before tube television. Because Farnsworth comes up with a way to be able to dissect the image at the camera and to put it into electronic signals, and then to have the lines reassembled on the screen. So like you're seeing lines being assembled on the screen in real time, right?
Yeah.
So this
That's
is
why
the mechanical one here, where it's like a spinning wheel.
That's why there's lines like this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like looking in one of the, like when you made it as a kid, you would like
A
look
flip
in
book?
not a flip book, but like where you had that like the horse running, and you'd look through like the spinning wheel, and you could see like the
Oh yeah,
horse.
yeah.
So that's transmitting a mechanical signal from one device to another, and then Farnsworth comes up with the idea of being able to dissect an image into lines electronically, and then so
That's
like
right.
the tube TV on the other end of the transmission is reassembling that image on the screen in lines that are at a frequency that the human eye can perceive it as being a full image or whatever, even though it's not. It's just at the frequency which you're observing it, which is, I believe it's like 60 hertz, which matched up with the transmit with the AC voltage as well. So
I mean, 1984, they were talking about having a two-way television in everyone's home. That was written in like the 50s or something, right?
Yeah. Watching back, yeah. It was watching them all the time.
Well, yeah, I remember old episodes of Andy Griffith where there's this one where this rich guy's coming through town, and his car breaks down, and he has a cell phone. He has a cell phone in his car, and then Andy and Barney are all blown away that this guy has a cell phone in his car. There's all black and white Andy Griffith, But I mean, but that again is a misnomer, because all a cell phone is a radio, right? It's a two-way radio essentially. So it's not that mind blowing when you really kind of break down what the technology is. But
You guys remember satellite car phones and shit? Looked like the old like radio handset from the Vietnam radios.
yeah, those weren't satellite; those were still radio devices. But
I've seen them in videos, but never in person.
yeah, I remember the old big ones. I always thought it was weird when cell phones first got popular, is they had like two options. They had like the Motorola StarTAC, which was like a super small first version of the Razor, and then they had that big fucking brick, right? Like, It was so weird that there was such a difference in sizes. And that Star Tech was like fucking like $2,200 or something, I think. I remember it being ridiculous.
At the time, that's like a lot of money.
Oh, it was an insane amount of money.
This was, I think Rusty posted this one in the Discord today. 1963 newspaper. You'll be able to carry a phone in your pocket in the future, and it's like a flip phone, the prototype.
In 63. That's
63,
dude, that's
they're
crazy.
talking
It looks
about
so
it.
similar.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
saying,
but
though.
I mean,
when
if
they
you
create their plans, though, they know, like, this is the 50-year plan, and this is where technology will have it to this point in 50
if you look
years.
at a military radio telephone, though, at the time in 63, I mean, that's not like, it's not a huge leap in logic to think that.
And Sean says all-seeing eye on that phone, but the all-seeing eye has always been here spiritually. It's just manifesting through technology. Because to me, it's nobody, like Quantum of Conscious says, this is his most important lesson to me. It's not a bunch of dudes sitting around smoking cigars. It just happens.
I think it is dudes sitting around.
I think
might be on
I think it is. I think you have to take it all into consideration. That's one of where you got to kind of leave some stuff on the table.
The trilateral commission?
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
no, I do agree with what Truther Cop said, though. At the same time, like, it is the
right. There
I
is an
think there's
aspect
something
where it
to that,
is
like-
people at a round table that are deciding these things.
It's similar
Obviously.
to the, like, Saturn Moon Matrix type, that old shit.
Yes.
It's like the Saturn is the eye in the sky, basically. That's what it.
But
kinda looks like.
I guess where I would say is the image or the idea of the all-seeing eye has no intrinsic, meaning to it. It has no actual meaning to it as itself. It's all going to depend on whoever the group is using it and what meaning they attach to it, right?
Yeah, but
As a symbol, right? As a symbol.
Yeah. But Satan's in control of all those symbols and signs and everything. So at the end of the day, everyone who bows to that bows to him.
I don't know how how you arrive at that.
Okay.
How is Satan in charge of all symbols?
In the evil way? The way I was pointing out earlier, but
Thought that was Mercury.
what is it? The Mercury, Mars, Saturn? No, it's Saturn. Because the Saturn moon matrix, the Saturn, if you look at it, it's a hexagon.
Sure.
poles.
Yeah. Well, that's what they tell us. That's what
Right.
Mercury
Yes.
was supposed to be like the messenger and is like correlated directly to like language and like also our nervous system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, we're talking about things that man have assigned to things. So,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
and that's what I'm getting at. Like, a symbol does not have a meaning in and of itself. It has to be applied a meaning externally by a group or a man or whoever, right?
Well, that's why there's no universal key for dreams, symbols and dreams. Jung talked about that in one of his books. He was like, well, if you dream about money to a poor person, that would mean something totally different than if a rich person dreamed about money.
Right.
So there's no universal dream key. Like if you dream about X, it means the same thing to everybody.
That's why I look at like the eye of providence is like a perfect example of what you would call now like culture jamming or brandalism, right? Like one group stole it from another group and attached a different meaning to it. So it's like it's Discordian in nature, right? Although like the same stuff like Drew does, right? Like taking a logo and then changing it up and brandalism, right? Culture jamming. So or iconoclasm. You're stealing somebody else's symbol and attaching your own meaning to it in the effort to destroy the original meaning that was attached to it, right?
Pervert it, yeah.
That
So
reminds me
who
of
knows?
something
Who
too.
knows? Yeah. So at the end of the day, who knows, right?
What do you think about once the signs and symbols or whatever, once this information travels through the digital medium and it hits the internet, especially? Do you think that the internet itself has some kind of like awareness or consciousness?
It definitely has the power to form egregores, or thought forms to some extent.
Because I would, even if it's like, I would think an ant or some like a colony of ants has to have some type of like consciousness or whatever you'd want to call it. I would think all this data going through this like central node where all the data goes through. There's got to be some kind of something happening there.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, ants have their own form of the internet, right? They're able to transfer data information through chemical signals and stuff between each other, and
Yeah, pheromones and whatnot.
yeah.
So then with all the information that comes through the internet and everything, an aggregate of that information, do you think that's would be kind of like an evil consciousness or satanic?
I don't.
Or is that the whole point of the internet, to try to create that maybe?
Yeah, I would think so. In a sense, I think it's kind of trying to create a synthetic version of that to some extent. And then that's where it comes into where I guess we do have some kind of influence upon this, since we are interacting within it, right? Like, even though the internet was given to us, right? But at the same time, we're able to influence it at some time. So it is, in its sense, hyper reality, or simulation, or simulacrum, or whatever you want to say about it, right? But we do have influence upon it. So
A massive piece of abstract art. That's how I look at it anyway.
And then as everything's multifaceted, another purpose of all this data going through these internet, to me, seems to be where they're going now with this generative AI. So that there's been machine learning, whatever, scraping all this stuff up for years and years, and now you can just type to create a movie or whatever. Create Bruce Willis, type out the scene.
Well, that's what they want to get.
What's that?
I think the ability to store the data. I think the ability to store all this data is where the shift is. To be able to maintain all this information, whether it's photographic or textual or whatever, the ability to maintain all this data is where the shift is really happening. Like, because you could see it even like if you think about like the printing press being another shift in humanity, where things were being able to be mass produced and shared, and kept. We're just kind of at a different level of that. So it's like physical reality creating thought forms to some extent, right? Egregores or whatever.
And then everything's getting.
I see the reverse. It's thought forms creating reality too. That's what a demon is, right? It wants to create reality through the expression of ideas, but it has to influence a human being to do that, right? It can't do it on its own, so it's got to get in your head and make you do it. So the thought, because to me, a demon is only a thought form on that way, because, But, yeah. And this all goes back to quantum of conscious and the egregores and all this. And he was talking about one day the space travel and how it was staged, and then tying it into how you can type in the image on the was it Midjourney and all this now, where it'll just manifest the image. And I began to imagine a world where it's like, oh, okay, they're going to start to fake these missions to Mars based on this technology where, oh, look, you're in Mars all of a sudden because you don't even remember, but you put on VR goggles and you've went into a spacesuit or something, right? And, you're going to Mars all of a sudden. And you totally believe it because that's all you can see and feel and touch, right?
Right, and what can be in the intellect that you don't perceive through the senses, right?
With that generative AI, go ahead. Go ahead.
So Matt talks about like what is it called? Hermetic simulation, right? It's like the Greeks were talking about role-playing games and stuff. So you put your mind together with other people into like a construct. right? That's basically you're using when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons or some role playing game or whatever. That's what you're doing. Everybody's using their imagination. The storyteller's telling something, and we're all putting our minds together with other players in the game, right? So that's kind of like the internet is like this black magic talisman, this evolving black magic talisman that allows us to do all that. But in reality, we're all capable of doing that without any construct. We can all talk to each other. I call it the Ethernet, right? And you have no idea how many times I've heard my thoughts come out of Reagan's mouth. Like, it's scary sometimes. But anyway, that's really what I feel is like the internet is this massive tool so we can educate each other and everything. But like, yeah, so that's basically a whole gist of it. It's helping us, but at the same time limiting us. Like a lot of people think that our nervous system allows us to perceive. I'm almost done. A lot of people think that our nervous system allows us to perceive data, but actually what it does is it reduces the amount of data, because without it, we'd be omniscient. It's kind of like the same thing with the internet. It's like a physical body that it seems like it's helping us get more information, but it's actually reducing us and holding our attention there. And yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because it is a simulacrum, right? Because like my voice coming through right now is not my actual voice. It's an electronic interpretation of my voice, right? So it's not actually my voice. Same thing with the image coming through the screen. It's not the actual image of me. It's an electronic interpretation of the image, and you're putting it together. Same thing, the whole way that your eyes function, right? You're not seeing actual reality. You're not actually seeing what is quote unquote reality in front of you. You're seeing the interpretation of your eyes being interpreted by your brain, right? So like you could wear glasses that reverse image for an extended period of time, and then you could take those glasses off and you would still see in the correct way.
Sure.
So there is a disconnect between your senses and what actual base reality is to some extent. So that's where you could get into the idea of it being a simulation of sorts, right?
Like every time you ever hear about all these gurus or whatever, Muhammad from the Islamic religion, and all these guys that had like supposedly had these visions and all this, it was always about, I went into a cave, I didn't eat anything, sensory deprivation and all this stuff, and then magically they had these like visions and stuff that's actually prophecies and all that. That's really all that was, right?
I also look at the internet as like a time storage, some kind of time storage capsule, right? Like the idea of that, like the natives would say that they were afraid of photography because it captured your soul or it captured a moment in time or whatever. But now we have these huge databases of images, right? Like, so they're in essence capturing a moment within whatever time is, right? Like, so now we have an entire database of time essentially, right? So if you were to be able to influence timelines, it would make sense that you'd have to have some kind of database of time to some extent, right? Which would have never been really possible in known human history, right? Unless the crystal skulls are, ancient hard drives or something.
USB drive, a thumb drive.
Right.
But you see why big data is the king now, right? Because they have everything. And where are they storing all this shit, man? It's got to be insane amounts of servers.
Right. And I talked about this years ago on an old podcast me and Drew did a long time ago. But just thinking about like the idea of porn, like these porn servers have to be like massive, right?
Skyscrapers or something, right?
Like, where are these giant porn servers that are being able to to host all this data, all this information. And then at the same time, when you think of like sigil, the idea of like sigil magic, of charging sigils and stuff, watching the Black Mirror, charging the sigil through masturbation, who knows what kind of stuff is on the screen, whether you perceive it directly or not. Like, and then somehow all that, some people may call it loosh or whatever, but there's some kind of generative energy that's being expelled when you masturbate, right? Because I mean that's the essence of life. Like, what if somehow that is some kind of harvesting ability, and just like, is CERN and Fermilab, are they the host for porn? Like, how is internet porn even profitable? You know, like,
it's not. It's designed as a weapon,
right?
For the exact person you were just talking about.
And
to like,
when does Pornhub or whatever ever go down? Right? Like, it's a massive database of videos, like the biggest information files that you can have, and it never fails and it always works, right?
I don't know if this is true, because
it's not making money off of fucking boner pills and fucking chatterbait fucking ads and shit, you know, like, it's not making any profit off any of that shit.
That's the same reason why a 2-liter of soda was like a couple of bucks now back in 1970, and today it's like what, $3? Like 40 years later, there's been no inflation to touch soda pop at all. They want us to drink that shit. Which, by the way, sugar is one of the blockers of the us being able to release ourselves and perceive everything, like I was just talking about. There's a valve right there at your.
Fuck you up. But not fruit sugar though. Fruit sugar is good.
Yeah, I keep hearing that sugar point lately, over and over again. Last day or two, it's like the third time.
Fruit sugar you can eat unlimited of. I think some people get them confused.
Honey's good too. And you want to stay away from like the like raw honey is good, but like if you start to refine
local honey is the best. That helps control allergies and stuff as well. If you eat local honey, but it's getting harder and harder to find these days. But
so real quick, back to those like servers and all that tech shit we were talking about, like now you see, like, instead of like emerging nations, the powerhouses out here are like the emerging technological companies.
Technological companies, yeah, they will be the ones that own us, right? I mean, because I mean, even like Amazon, right? Like, how does Amazon make any money? Benton likes to talk about this a lot. Like, Amazon's not a profitable company, even though it's one of the largest companies in the world. It doesn't make profit.
It's the medical industry. It's all the medical industry.
What is
that's going to own you? If anyone's going to own you, the medical industry will give you your genes. They'll make your baby the way you want it.
Yeah, they'll team with these
the
tech
formulas, and they'll own you, your body. You're talking about the physical body, it's going to be the medical company. If you're talking about your digital body, it could be somebody else too.
Well, in essence, the pharmaceutical companies are tech companies in essence, right? But the same thing with they could make a genetically modified seed. They own the seed.
Exactly.
You have to keep the seed within your field. Your seed can't go over to another field. If that seed goes over another field, then the company that has the rights on that seed now owns that field due to their seed. Same thing with like you know, and that's the same thing that can happen digitally as well, you know, like.
Well, everything.
And then so if you're and that's what people speculated with the jab, right? Is that you're being genetically modified, therefore the company has some kind of rights upon you as a person because you have their intellectual technology within you. So now you are owned by them by some paperwork, I guess, essentially, right? It's paperwork, right? So all we got to do is not go to the DMV, don't have a driver's license, don't have a license plate, and then we'll
let them take down your door, and then that's how you win the game.
Right. A lot of this, I mean, like, how do you escape it? A lot of it. I mean, like, you can
Well,
obviously fight any kind of mandatory injections, obviously, but
it goes
you
to
know.
Galatians 4:4-7, man. That's the best one right there. But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under the law. Which meaning, it goes in another place to explain, under the governors, right? In order to redeem those that were under the law, so that we might receive the adoption as sons. And because you are sons, God sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying, Abba, Father. So you are now no longer a slave, but a son. And if a son, then an heir through God. So it talks about overcoming these man-made laws and then transcending to God's obedience on the earth, right? To a different form. And just transcending all that.
Who's Noble Gannon? Is that JG?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I'm pretty sure it is JG, but I just want to say to who was it? Scheme Team. Just because Amazon is doing a lot of business does not mean that it's a profitable company, right? Like the fact that they can deliver stuff within 2 hours to your door that you order, or next day off of Prime and stuff, like the logistics of that don't add up to make profit. Just because the company is making money does not mean that it's profitable. And if you look at their statements, the profit is basically negligible.
Well, one of the things that they did to get
on purpose, the expenditure is always going to be for a business as much as it can be to avoid that tax.
Right, and that's been their model, to always put it all back into the company anyways to grow it. And but then at the same time, you got like AWS, essentially that's like AWS, Salesforce, like you have all these other bigger companies that are really just the driving force for almost every single industry, right? Like it's insane how like Salesforce in general, Salesforce came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, like everything is ran by Salesforce, right? Like even in my world, industrial diesel engines, like all my web portals, all that kind of shit is all ran by Salesforce. Like out of nowhere, just they control everything, AWS is the same thing. Even if you're not affiliated with Amazon, you're probably running on some kind of AWS software at the same time. But
do you think that lends credence to, like, behind the scenes, all these corporations, ultimately there's like one megacorp, basically? Like, not technically, but
it seems like that probably is the reality.
Have you ever seen that building in it's in Delaware, and it's like all the corporations are registered address to that one address in Delaware?
No, there's a big one in I think it's like South Carolina. There's a place where like all the major corporations are all in this one.
It's in Delaware. It's probably the same one that we're.
Well, Delaware is a hot spot for that activity.
Yeah, because Delaware has like the best corporate laws, and then they have courts in Delaware that even open till like midnight or something like that for all these like corporations and stuff. So all of these companies have their corporations filed through Delaware, and then there's like laws in place too, where there's like security laws in place, so they don't have to really disclose who like the true owners are and stuff like that. You just have to disclose like one board member or something like that. And then,
and it could be an attorney or anybody.
Yeah, it could be anybody, and then so all those companies have that stuff registered there. And it's like how there's BlackRock and everything, BlackRock and what's it, Citadel and everything, right? It's like the same two sides of the same coin, where one's BlackRock's got the longs and Citadel's got the shorts, basically. But then you could trace it all back to that Delaware location when you look at the subsidiaries.
Yeah. Okay. So in February 2023, Amazon reported $150 billion in sales in the 3 months ending in December. A year ago, Amazon had its most profitable quarter with 14.3 billion in net income. That resulted in a profit of 278 million. But then they invested $2.3 billion into Rivian at the same time, the electric vehicle producer or whatever. So whatever profit they do make, they tend to just invest it in other industries. So
It must be all the ebooks.
I mean, are people profiting that work for
Right.
Amazon? Yes, but in general, like yeah, it's not as profitable as it should be.
I worked for Amazon actually for about 8 months.
I heard it sucks.
So you've heard that term wagey and the cagey.
Yeah.
They literally put you in. Like, I worked for them during COVID. I worked for the largest facility in Western Washington. And you know that plastic like curtain stuff that you see over the front of like walk-in coolers and shit?
Yeah.
They put that between each one of the packing cubicles. So we're all packing like these little cubicles, right? And I'm a wagey in like a little plastic cagey over there, like packing. But I'll tell you what, if anybody, if you know, however you feel about COVID, if there was anybody spreading it, it was definitely them. just you know, like
all
they're not
over the
wiping.
packages, all over the packages, getting sent up for 2 days.
Breathing on shit.
Oh yeah.
So we have to take like safety courses or whatever, and it's always, whenever you're on any staircase or whatever, it's always 3 points of contact, right? And they're not wiping down the hand railings after every break that we go through, right? We're all supposed to be like wearing gloves and all this, and they literally, we called them hall monitors. They literally had people in there telling people that was their job, was to tell people to be 6 feet apart. They had this like they had like these advanced like computers to where if it was like a camera to where like if it saw somebody within like 6 feet of somebody else, it would like an alarm would ring and shit. Yeah, but yeah,
Like some RoboCop shit.
Oh yeah. So I mean, yeah, they were definitely the ones that were. We all had to wear masks and we all had to wear gloves, but a lot of people didn't care about the 6 foot thing. In fact, most people there did not care about it. I mean, dude, you've got all these people packed into a small ass area. There's virtually no way that you could do that and run that business.
Yeah.
So
I worked for an Amazon facility years ago back in Indianapolis as like a maintenance man for the whole operation there or whatever. And then my girlfriend at the same time was working on the floor as a general employee doing packaging or whatever. And it was brutal for people. That was a brutal fucking job. Like, and there you had like a 2-strike policy. Like you had to go through metal detectors before you went to the facility. Like you couldn't go in there with anything. You couldn't use your cell phone. You couldn't do anything. You had to leave everything outside. You would go in, and then there'd be this long ass line for the general employees to clock in. And like if you clocked in late just because you were in the line, back in the line, you had like 2 times you could clock in late. And then after that, you're done. You're fired. And it didn't matter. There was no excuses for any of it. And then the quotas that you would have to meet, like in some of this stuff, was just like retarded. People just had to work themselves to death just to meet quotas and stuff. Like the whole way the system worked, like everything gets picked robotically, comes down this assembly line, and then goes to where like they call like tote wrangling. So like all these items get put into it like a tote. They come down the line. And this tote wrangler has to move the tote to like a specific lane, and then that lane gets a cart, and then it gets separated out further, and then people put into boxes. Like there's no taking a break at that facility. But at the same time, they were paying people that had no skills, no labor. I I mean, they were paying them like $18 to $22 an hour. So
Yeah,
I mean, it was
ridiculous
extremely
amount.
good pay, but it was extremely hard work. But it was also they also had all kinds of like raffles. I mean, they would be like giving away cars and TVs and like all kinds of stuff all the time, just for clocking in. You got put into a raffle and you could win all kinds of stuff. It wasn't a bad place. So you had to hustle, but
Mhm.
I sat around and wait for bearings to fucking go bad on conveyor systems and shit. Or like an electronic eye would go out of adjustment. I'd have to go and move it into adjustment or something. Like it was pretty easy. But
What year was that? What year did you work for them, or years? Or whatever?
that was 2011.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I worked for them, like I said, during like the height of COVID, and they were definitely like waiving a lot of their normal intake procedures, like no UAs. They didn't care if you had a criminal background. They were like, "You're a warm body. You want to do this? Okay,
Get in here.
Yeah, the selection was pretty strict when me and my girl were working at that facility. It was a big one at the time. But yeah, I mean, everybody had to be drug tested before you came in. Then you had to do like a performance test before you would get hired, and like it was pretty strict. And if you fucked up twice, you were out. No excuses, no whatever. You were just out because they had thousands of people lined up to come and get the job.
Damn. I saw the last place I was at, the Amazon
Gulag. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Amazon dude at my last place would be delivering at like 10 at night, dude. I'm like, they got these guys running that late or what?
Dude, it's crazy. Now I ordered. My kid wanted a 3D print. We went to the library the other day, and we have this badass library, but they have like 3D printers, 3D pins, like all this kind of shit. And she's like, really wanted to play with the 3D pin, and I was like, I told her I'd take her the next day, and then I'm like, I don't know. I looked on Amazon. I was like, I can get a 3D pin for like $30, and I can get it in like an hour. So I was like, just click, and then within an hour, I had it on my doorstep.
Wow.
Like, it's like it was just insane. Like just random weird shit like that, right? Like it's insane, and almost everything in my area, in Chicago area, almost everything is next day. Or now you can get it within an hour or 2 hours on Prime for free. Like,
yeah,
it's insane.
You were talking about logistical costs. Those drivers, at least up where I was at, they're making minimum wage. Like,
I had a buddy that did it, and he said it didn't pay that much.
Yeah, my nephew worked for Amazon. Well, see, the drivers are usually a third party.
Oh,
so
really?
there's independent, and they come and go constantly. The third party drivers come and go constantly. These companies pop up, freight companies pop up. They get Amazon contracts. They lease all the vehicles, and then they hire people. That the people that are driving are not necessarily employees of Amazon. They're employees of the company that is a subcontractor to Amazon. So yeah, they can pay them less than what people in the actual people in the fulfillment center are Amazon employees. But the drivers are not necessarily Amazon employees. Usually they're third-party employees from an outside company.
Well,
even though they drive a truck that says Amazon on it, it's still a third party because they're leasing the vehicles from Amazon. It's a franchise.
About CDL drivers, or are you talking about the actual guys who drive the Amazon trucks?
Both. Yeah, both.
Because I worked on the dock. I know that all those truck drivers are like, they don't work for Amazon. But
the package, are you talking about like the tractor trailer guys?
No, I was not talking about those guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of them, tractor trailer, package delivery, whatever size van you're driving in. For the most part, those people are not Amazon employees.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know they pay them as little as they can possibly pay them.
That's because it's third party.
And you have like an insane
Amazon. They're getting a check from Joe Smo Freight Company or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because they don't want because Amazon originally Amazon was running that part of the business, right? But the liability got so big that they didn't want to have any part of it. So they separated and then they started hiring third-party freight companies to be the independent delivery people. Because I know like for here, for instance, they started hiring all these people and they hired a bunch of people they hired a bunch of low level employees and it wasn't good. They were wrecking all the vehicles because at first they started renting vehicles. Amazon was renting the vehicles from like Ryder and all these other truck rental places, right? And then so all these vehicles were getting wrecked, and then they had a problem with like because there's a gas station right by my work, like right on the corner of my shop, and it's close to a fulfillment center. And then all the Amazon delivery people would have to come there and fill up their vehicle, and it would fuck the whole gas station. Like nobody could ever get gas there because it was just Amazon drivers there, and then they had some kind of deal with the gas station. It was a whole mess. And then so Amazon transferred out of that and then started hiring third party people to do it. And then like my cousin worked for them for a long time, and he said he transferred like 3-4 times different freight companies delivering for Amazon, like within a year. Like a company would be up in business for like 3-4 months, then they would get hit with so many insurance claims they couldn't do it anymore. They'd go under, and then another one would pop up. Some people from the other one would jump into the other one, and they create a whole nother LLC, and then it would just be like an evolution of it.
And legally, you could avoid fees for a long time like that.
Yeah.
Huh. I just remember there was, Bezos is like to the commies. Bezos is like this huge capitalist demon or whatever the fuck. And I remember they in Seattle they had this.
Oh, why that dude thinks I drive a PT Cruiser. He said that for years. I don't know what that deal is. But...
Yeah, I've seen Jeff's, like, you know how you have a work ID when you go in there and has your picture on it. I've seen Jeff's original work ID when he was like in like butterfly collars and freaking his hair and like big ass frames, and we have access to all that when we were in there. And anyway, I remember they had this one driver on the news in Seattle said, "You have no idea the horrible work conditions," like trying to make it sound like it was a third world country, and like they make me deliver 1,000 packages a day. Yeah.
I rented a PT Cruiser once.
This one?
Hell yeah.
Oh my.
Look like Gravedigger.
Yeah, no. I hate
Son of a
Mopar.
digger.
Yeah.
Never drive a fucking Mopar. You guys fucking retarded.
I went to school with Gravedigger's child.
Who, the driver's child?
Yes.
Is he now? They have that truck called Son of a Digger. Is that dude then?
I don't know.
There's an actual truck. Let me pull it up. Son of a Digger. I don't know who the driver
Because
is.
Gravedigger, he was from my county, and his son went to school with me. We were in the same grade. I don't know who this is.
It's his son, Ryan Anderson. Is that the guy?
Yeah,
That's his son, bro. He's got his own truck now.
He was in my grade. Yeah, we went to school together.
Look at you. You're doing panels in front of 75 people, and he's on the Monster Jam tour.
Oh, Lord.
You beat him.
That's great. I didn't know that he's like, dude, because his dad is Gravedigger, dude. Everybody's heard of Gravedigger.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the only monster truck people know. Gravedigger and Bigfoot. If you're old.
And so his son's like rebranded. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, he's got his own. He's on the tour. He's on the circuit.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I went to school with him.
Try to get us some free tickets, free shirts.
We weren't tight at all, but no, we were in the same grade though. That's funny. Son of a digger. Because oh my gosh.
Careful. Don't mispronounce that.
Just say Ginger, okay? It has all the same letters.
Ginger, yeah.
Yeah.
The ginger.
Shout out to my county, man. We representing the world at this point.
Damn.
I don't know.
Damn. What is it? 11:30? I think I'm ready for bed, man. Anyone got some technology shit they want to spit?
I don't even know where we ran off the rails on this.
That was the best part of the whole stream. Son of a digger. What are you talking about?
Way before that we ran off the rails.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Matt originally. What happened? You got anything to say about Matt, EBT, since you didn't get your licks in?
Not at this point. I don't even know where we're at.
Okay, QLC. Well, we did the first half of his one page. Maybe I can come back tomorrow or something, do the second half. Did everyone have a good Easter? Everyone on the panel here? You guys had a good Easter?
I'm still sitting at the table where we ate dinner. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
we had a good one. So
Sounds good, man.
had all that extra air.
Yeah, all the extra.
You gotta be restreaming these EBT, and then you can get all these. We're at
Right,
1:30.
EBT, where you at, man?
He never restreams, man.
I don't really care that much.
Slipping, yeah. You got to get them hours bumped up. You got to pad them hours.
I might do an after show.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask next. Are you gonna?
Restream, is that like crossing streams or whatever?
I might, but I'm probably gonna take a 30-minute break though.
Okay, well, everyone go to Enslaved by Truth channel, Truth or Cop channel. Do you got a channel, Cecil, or no?
Nah.
Okay, you get him exclusively here, the star of the show.
I try to get TBE on, and we'll talk shit about Drew. But
yeah, that'd be a good one. He's still being a butthurt. TBE, still mad at me. I'll tune in. All right, man. Thanks everyone that was here. Appreciate your time.
Have a good night now.
Peace out. Happy Easter.